A windy and wintry night at the banks of the Raritan here on Rutgers campus, the birthplace of college football. Tonight in the Big East, a good quarterback showcase. The electrifying redshirt freshman B.J. Daniels leads the Bulls into the Knights' backyard, where the true freshman quarterback Tom Savage has been playing great football this season. His job tonight, get the ball to the playmaker, Tim Brown, to beat Connecticut with that dramatic touchdown. The Bulls have lost 3 in a row to Rutgers, including a beatdown in their ballpark a year ago. They are out for payback tonight. One of these teams, whichever wins, will become bowl eligible here tonight. And we welcome you to ESPN's College Football Primetime, presented by Applebee's. This Big East collision at Rutgers. Crowd filing in on a chilly night. The weather turning cold all of a sudden today. Rutgers inspired. They come in off a win over Connecticut. USF kind of reversed their slide by beating West Virginia in their previous game. So Chris, Greg, Jesse, Aaron will join us as well. These teams are both 6-2, guys, but would you agree it's kind of a soft 6-2? They got a couple of 1AA wins. They're not going to win the Big East. That's going to be settled between Cincinnati and Pittsburgh. But one of these teams is going to get bowl eligible with a win tonight. Good quarterback matchup. We talked about Daniels. We've seen what he can do already, Craig, as a redshirt freshman, and he has the Rutgers defense really concerned tonight.
Well, they should be concerned. B.J. Daniels, we saw him burst on the scene when they beat Florida State with his legs, with his arms. This is a guy that's creative. He makes plays that other quarterbacks couldn't quite make. Matt Grothe used to be really good here, but this guy, 9 plays or 40 or more yards already this season. And the other thing that I watched, Jesse, is we've seen him when he runs around that pocket, right, Chris? And he starts making the defense chase him for 12 seconds. He might only gain a yard or 2, but he's wearing the defense out.
He might be the best scrambling quarterback in all of college football, but I really think he's going to get tested here tonight because he's without his big play wide receiver, Carlton Mitchell. He's facing a defense in Rutgers, very aggressive. They will pressure him, and they've already forced 25 turnovers on the year. You watch B.J. Daniels this season, he's been prone to throwing the other team the football. Without Carl Mitchell on the field, those other receivers, they need to step up around B.J. Daniels if USF's going to have any chance moving the football tonight.
And those Rutgers blitzes can confuse quarterbacks, can't they? Meanwhile, Tom Savage, a guy from just down the turnpike in the Philly area, 6'5", 230, and as a true freshman, has come in here, started from almost day one, and only 1 interception. You compare his stats to other true freshmen doing well, Matt Barkley and Tate Forcier. Those guys have played against tougher competition, to be sure, but Savage has really taken care of the football.
His poise has been unbelievable. For a true freshman to throw only 1 interception, that's just unheard of these days. The coaching staff has done a very good job managing this young quarterback. A lot of maximum protections, a lot of throws to the perimeter of the field. He's got all the physical tools you look for, but Craig, big test tonight. Lots of speed on that USF defense.
Well, we've seen that USF defense in film study, and you know what they do. They turn the ball over. 14 turnovers they've created in the last 5 games. So this freshman quarterback, I don't think he's seen the speed he's going to see tonight on this football game. You're going to see a USF defense that gets around. They're going to put pressure on him. He's got to be very smart, take care of the football, and not make mistakes.
And both these young quarterbacks dealing with a wind tonight that'll be blowing from left to right. 2 very intense coaches, do you think, pregame?
Yeah, absolutely.
Levitt and Schiano. Here's Levitt with Aaron Andrews.
Well, Coach, what's been the talk heading into tonight from your players about finally ending this 3-game losing streak against Rutgers?
Well, you know, well, first of all, last week, last game out, beating West Virginia helps a little bit of momentum. There's no question, Rutgers just outplayed us, last number of years, and we had to have great focus, got to play our game, and handle the atmosphere, and certainly handle a Thursday night.
You mentioned that West Virginia game, a huge night for your quarterback and B.J. Daniels. What's key for him tonight in building off that game?
Well, he's got to do his thing. He's going to run and throw, and when it breaks down, he's going to go out there and just take off, and hopefully he'll get some room to do that. He's got to protect the football. If we don't protect the football, we'll struggle tonight, but hopefully he will.
Coach, thank you.
All right, thanks.
All right.
He wants to play with rage, at least his team does. So kickoff coming up here from Rutgers. The Bulls and the Knights trying to get bowl eligible. Back down to the studio, Reese, Mark, and Lou.
All right, Chris, couple of great nights in the Big East coming up. First, Rutgers in South Florida. Then tomorrow night, West Virginia taking on Cincinnati. The Bearcats unbeaten. Going to talk to Brian Kelly a little bit later on tonight. Glad to have you with us as we get set for a weekend, guys, in which some conference championships or division championships can be clinched everybody knows Texas is going to win the Big 12 South. It can become official on Saturday. The Longhorns would clinch the South if they could beat Baylor, which they usually do. Mac has never lost to them. Oklahoma State would also have to lose Texas Tech to make it mathematically official. Jordan Shipley having a sensational season. In the ACC Atlantic, Clemson clinches if they can beat NC State and BC loses.
Are you really buying Clemson finishing the season off and clinching the division? I can't accept it until they do it.
You want to show them. You want them to show you. Yeah. Finally, you've hurt yourself hopping on and off that bandwagon before, right?
Ankles are killing them.
Georgia Tech plays Duke. They don't need anybody else to help them. Yellow Jackets win. They're headed to the ACC championship game for the second time since the advent of that title game. And then, of course, in the Big Ten, there is a winner-take-all game between Iowa and Ohio State.
Well, we thought this would be a great matchup, but the loss of Stanzi really hurts Iowa.
How about this? Ohio State is going for its 5th straight Big Ten title, at least a share of it. They haven't been to the Rose Bowl in that entire time. Now, obviously, they played for the national championship, which is a step up, just a little bit of an oddity. USC suddenly back in that Rose Bowl picture, but so too is Stanford. They square off at the Coliseum Saturday afternoon. SC has won 47 of their last 48 games at the Coliseum. The lone loss when Jim Harbaugh came in as a 4,000-point underdog and knocked off SC. This time, it is a contending Stanford team that comes in. One with the nation's second leading rusher in Toby Gerhart and one of the most dynamic young quarterbacks in all of the land in Andrew Luck.
Well, they have two very talented people, but I think Coach Harbaugh has done a tremendous job with that offensive football team. Just the way they believe, the way they perform, and I don't care what you say about Toby Gerhart, it's not enough. That guy has really been fantastic as a football player this year. And as I said, Andrew Luck, he is the 9th-rated efficiency passer in the country, and then Toby Gerhart's the second leading rusher in the entire country, averaging 135 yards a game. I think Stanford has an excellent chance to win this game.
They've got an excellent chance, but I think the defense of USC sets up perfect for the Stanford offense to not have success because they don't have a quarterback that runs a spread offense. Yes, he's mobile in the pocket. They will struggle to score points against this USC offense. Plus, if you look at Stanford, they are 1-3 on the road. Their only victory on the road is against Washington State. And if you look at the USC offense, I think this Stanford defense is just primed to give up a lot of points. Last week against Oregon, 42 they gave up against that offense. And not only that, when you look at USC's offense, they've been awful. You look at the last 6 quarters, only 10-point score, but they will get healthy and right against this defense.
But, you know, I predicted that Oregon would beat Southern Cal because I
got one right.
I said, look at the comparative scores. The same thing with Stanford. You look at the comparative scores with Southern Cal, Stanford comes out better. Stanford's a very, very explosive football team.
And
very physical, too.
Yeah, somebody at this desk believes that they're the most physical offense in the Pac-10.
Well, I don't know if they're the most physical offense, and I know everybody gets so highly rated over Andrew Luck, but I wouldn't be the first one publicly to go say this guy's a great quarterback.
First, thanks for hopping on my coattails there, Coach. And you know what, Mark, I'd just like to point out that there are some NFL scouts who agree with me about the Stanford offense, but I guess that's neither here nor there.
A lot of scouts out of work.
And there are a lot of losing teams in the NFL, too.
This is true. This is true. I do not want to argue football with my esteemed Hall of Fame colleagues, unless I really want to. The game that you guys are going to care the most about this weekend, hey, look, these guys are passionate about all the teams, but sometimes there's a little bit of emotion when some of their life has been invested in a couple of programs. Pittsburgh at Notre Dame. Now, there's not really a catchy name for this type of rivalry, so perhaps we can run a few by you that might work well. How about Mayday against the Doctor, who will deliver at the Rivers? Confluence of the Three Rivers. Okay. I'm not sure that I'm really thrilled with that one. Let's try another slogan. How about Throttle at the Bottle?
I like that one.
That's because you nicknamed the stadium the Bottle for Heinz, because there's a certain condiment often served in a bottle that is by that same name. Pitt and Notre Dame, maybe another name for it would be, I don't know. How about Payday for Mayday?
Now that one's good.
How about Mismatch?
You like mismatch?
Mismatch.
So you think that Pittsburgh's going to blow out Notre Dame?
No, absolutely not. I want to tell you, I've been for Notre Dame since I coached there. This guy jumps on that Pitt bandwagon more than anybody. I want to tell you, Pitt folks, this guy in real life, I'd take that number 73 down immediately in that stadium.
I love the Panthers, and the reason why I love the Panthers is because they have the best offense on the field because they're most balanced with the running back and Deion Lewis, Bill Stahl, quarterback, making great decisions, and throwing the football vertically. How about Dorian Dickerson, a tight end with 10 touchdown receptions, Coach, can get over the
more than any other tight end in the country.
He's one of the best in the nation and will be the best. But I love this true freshman running the football. And their defense, 39 sacks. Navy got 2 sacks on Jimmy in the last quarter. How are they going to stop that defense, Coach?
But I want to tell you, Notre Dame has at least 7 pro prospects on their offense. There's no way you can say they're not the most talented offensive team on the field. You look at Golden Tate, you look at Michael Floyd, you look at Rudolph, the tight end, Jimmy Clausen, you look at the offensive lineman, Samia. I mean, you can go on. And you look, Notre Dame's one of the top football teams in the country in gaining yards. What they have not done, Reese, they haven't been able to put the ball in the end zone on a consistent basis.
You know, I think one thing...
Isn't that the key, though? You have to put it in the end zone because Pitt scores 34.6 points a game. Notre Dame is only at 30.
Well, it is. But, you know, I thought one of the things that was interesting after all of the heat that Charlie Weiss took for losing to Navy for the second time in 3 years last week, several of the players came to his defense. Jimmy Clausen particularly really stepped up, and he said, hey, look, a fumble on the 1-yard line is not coaching. That's playing, and that's on me. I thought it showed a great deal of maturity on Clausen's
He
part.
took a lot more heat after your decision on final verdict than you rolled with me.
I told you that I would revisit it if Notre Dame finishes strong. This is an important game for Notre Dame, the psyche and the direction of the program. Is that fair to say?
What you don't realize is how Notre Dame's going to react. You really don't know. When you're around a lot of negativity and the newspaper and everything else, it's either going to pull you closer together or it's going to drive you further apart. I'm anxious to see how Notre Dame will respond.
And I also think it's important for Pitt as well in the perception of the Big East. Pitt has 1 loss that came to NC State. NC State's not very good. They lose to Notre Dame, too. The perception of the Big East takes a little bit of a hit. Now, I understand that something I'll be watching closely on Saturday is an agreement. I don't want to call it a wager, but an agreement between the two of you as to what might happen, winner and loser. How's this going to go? You're going to have to wear a Notre Dame jersey if his team wins?
Well, that's not going to happen, but Coach is going to be wearing a Pitt jersey after Pitt stomps Notre Dame.
For how long? For part of college football final?
For at least the final verdict and maybe the last segment.
I don't know if that might impugn the dignity.
He would want to lose intentionally just to be able to put on a Notre Dame jersey because he never had that opportunity. It made you feel. At first we were going to arm wrestle who would win, but then we decided let the outcome of the game.
It'll be a payday for May Day.
We'll see. You know, I don't like to hype the things that we do, but maybe it'd be a really good day to follow Mark and me on Twitter to see what's going on in the studio when that game's going on. South Florida and Rutgers coming up next.
ESPN's College Football Primetime, brought to you by Enterprise Rent-A-Car. We'll pick you up. The Home Depot. Visit HomeDepot.com. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot. And Unum. Better benefits at work.
Red or black?
When you want to get away.
Both.
Enterprise will pick you up and get you going to romantic weekends. Pick Enterprise. We'll pick you up.
We're cutting the cost of Yuletide, taking the bah humbug out of your budget, and amping up the merry in your Christmas. We're lowering prices on everything you need to make your home and the season more festive, adding more jingle to your pockets and more happy to your holidays. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot. Come in today and recycle any old Christmas lights, working or not, for $3 off energy-efficient LED lights.
Can I help you today?
Do you have anything a little more, Oh, wow.
Compare hundreds of travel sites at once. Kayak. Search one and done.
Rutgers has struggled to a 3-2 record. Here at home, undefeated on the road, trying to protect home turf tonight against the Bulls of South Florida, ranked number 24. Looking back, a cold night here in Rutgers. They've only played 4 times. USF won the first meeting, but the last 3 years have belonged to Rutgers, including a beatdown in Tampa last year.
Brody going to the end zone. Touchdown, South Florida! South Florida must go for 2. And it's incomplete. Rutgers stays unbeaten.
It's a fake. And it's caught for a touchdown.
What a pass.
What a throw. What a call. Number 2 BCS ranking comes down to this play. Picked off. The perfect season for USF dies in New Jersey.
Field goes down the middle, looking for Britt. Touchdown Rutgers.
Rutgers continues to roll. Wow.
Self-destruction for the Bulls last year. Schiano's team took him to the woodshed and continued to throw the ball up 33 points, something the Bulls have noticed and remembered as they look for payback here tonight.
A lot of players on USF 0 for 3 against Rutgers, including guys like George Selby. That game last year, they lost 49-16. Those players looking for payback.
And you can hear it in their voices this week. You know, that's the one thing for me in this game I'm looking forward to seeing. If USF can step up and do something about it.
They appear to be, en route to another slide, but a big win over West Virginia in Tampa in their last game. Both teams have had a bye week to prepare for this one. Boy, until yesterday, it was really nice in the New York, New Jersey area. Now temperatures are falling rapidly, and you see the wind gusting 20 to 30 miles per hour, blowing basically left to right on your screen. So it'll be tough punting, kicking, and maybe even throwing into that wind. Bulls to kick off. This is Eric Schwartz. With the wind at his back, he boots the ball down inside the 5, and this is Devin McCourty, the dangerous returner for Rutgers. His brother Jason played here and now plays in the NFL. The man who took the opening kickoff back against Connecticut stopped at the 20-yard line, and that's where the true freshman quarterback will take over.
1 interception and 168 attempts this year for a true freshman. Craig, you just don't hear about that anymore.
Well, no, and now what we're going to watch here earlier in this football game is to watch the speed of that USF defense. I think off the corner, George Selby, who is the active NCAA tackles for loss guy, he's always in the backfield. So there's going to be pressure on him. He's got to make good decisions. Working
against a very good left tackle, number 75, Anthony Davis. You can see the tight end shift away. So already that one-on-one matchup at the bottom of the formation. Running inside. Selby cut inside. It kind of disrupted the play. Our impact players for Rutgers, beginning with Tim Brown, the big playmaker.
Maybe the most explosive offensive player in the entire Big East Conference, averaging 48 yards every time he scores a touchdown catching the ball.
You know, but Rutgers is just as excited about Mohamed Sanu. I mean, he's a great, talented freshman player. He's got to give balance to the other side.
Saw Devin McCourty as a returner. He's their best defensive player, smothering cover corner. So a wrinkle already here. Mohamed Sanu, another true freshman, takes the direct snap, hands the ball off around the end to Brown, and he's shoved out, and a flag after the tackle, which will give Rutgers 15 more in a first down. Jerome Murphy, the corner, the one who knocked him out. So an early wrinkle.
Personal foul. Defense, number 3. 15-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
Biggest spot. Besides Savage, Mohamed Sanu, a big 215-pound receiver, very talented guy. He handed off to Brown, and just the senseless flag there.
If you're USF, you look back to losses against Cincinnati and Pitt. Both of those losses, they had a lot of penalties, undisciplined play. They cannot afford to be like that early in this game.
So Savage back under center, and a quick shake of the head for Levitt. He's seen too much of this. There's Sanu. Motions in. They fake it to Martinek. And Savage, an excellent runner. Underrated athlete. Not just a big arm. You can see the quicks. Better than his predecessor, Mike Teal, in that department, and Teal's in the NFL.
And I think that's something against this defense. You can already see the push inside. You watch that defensive line come across. Very good play call here to get away from that inside pressure.
I don't think the defense expecting Tom Savage to be able to break contain. He's showing you those wheels right there. They run some speed option in this offense with him. And again, he's 6'5", 230 pounds.
Cordell Young motions out, so empty backfield on the first down for Savage. Bulls rush for, incomplete. Tried to flip it off short. Sabbath Joseph broke it up.
So when you start looking at this football game here, the play before and the bootleg and design, I mean, that's gonna force USF to play with some discipline.
And I like that play call too, because they get Tom Savage outside the pocket. It's a pass run option. We talked about how this coaching staff has managed and protected their young quarterback. He's going to have to make plays tonight, though.
Once again, Sanu lining up at quarterback, and Savage moved to wide receiver at the top of the formation. Here comes Brown in motion. They fake it to him. Sanu, not much there. Rutgers has tried to find ways to manufacture a running game because they've had very little success. If you toss out the 2 games against 1AA competition and focus in on the Big East games, it's been very tough sledding for this running game.
Only 50 yards rushing against Cincinnati, 38 yards rushing against Pitt, and 86 yards rushing against UConn. This USF defense stout against the run.
Yeah, you can throw out the overall stats because there's some soft wins in there early in the season for Rutgers. This is not the Ray Rice era. He's long gone, and they're having a real tough time finding a ground game. 3rd and 10 for the freshman. In the pocket, delivers a high ball, and Sanu goes up and gets it, has first down yardage, and there's a flag in the secondary. Sanu, just a talented character. He's all legs. Looks like a thoroughbred.
Freak athlete.
Holding. Defense. Number 12. Penalties decline. First down.
General gist, the safety guilty, but the catch will stand to Sanu.
Yeah, you know, I like all the crossing. You see the stunts on the inside, the offensive line at Rutgers. A question mark for me entering this game. Could they pick that up and give Savage time?
And Tom Savage likes throwing the football to the perimeter of the field. I asked him earlier what his favorite throws were. He's an NFL prototype guy that likes to push the ball to the outside of the field. He can make all the throws, spread them all over the place. He's got a major league arm.
Sanu, major league talent, a guy who comes from Brunswick. Didn't play high school football his senior year because he was too old. He was 19, but they knew all about him at that point. You could see the obvious gifts. First college game against Cincinnati, no less. 10 catches for 101 yards. This is a handoff to Cordell Young, one of the small, quick backs for Rutgers. He took a big hit there from Jarrell Young and the freshman linebacker, Sam Barrington.
I think this will be a real challenge for USF tonight to try to make Rutgers one-dimensional and force them to throw it. You know, they held Noel Devine 2 weeks ago to only 43 yards on the ground. Can they have that same success against smaller backs?
Yeah, and I think they can. And I think it's one of those smaller back nights where you have to run right by the defensive lineman because you're not going to hold them long. They're quick on the other side, and they get off their blocks.
Rutgers will frequently do this, check the formation, and then Savage will look to the sideline, make adjustments in the blocking schemes. Here's the handoff to Young again. Turns the corner and gets down near the 25. It'll be a first down.
We talked to Greg Schiano about that. You know, the coaches help out their young true freshman quarterback with the check with knees at the line of scrimmage. A lot of fans don't like that. They don't like when they see the quarterback look back to the line of scrimmage. But really, when you're doing that, Craig, you're minimizing the chance for a bad play, right?
And do you think Schiano gives a flip about what they're
Absolutely
At the end of the day, send your money in so we pay for those news bleachers in the end zone here. But let me coach this football team, and that is how you protect the quarterback.
Nice opening possession for the Scarlet Knights. Already 4 first downs. Savage looks left, fires, complete. It's Sanu again, who breaks a tackle and streaks to the end zone. True freshman to true freshman. You can see why the future is bright for the Knights, and they strike in their opening possession right down the field.
And to answer your question about calls from inside, look at the 2 tight end formation. You've got maximum protection on the inside to give Savage time to throw the ball on the outside.
Outside linebacker Sabbath Joseph squeezed inside with the tight end. That allowed for the lane. And just look at Mohamed Sanu use the 215-pound frame, just muscle into the end zone.
Sansanti, the sophomore kicker from North Carolina. One for the point. Rutgers uses 4 minutes and 12 seconds after the opening kickoff to move 80 yards in 9 plays. The final 25 from Savage to Sanu. Get used to hearing that around here in the years to come.
Day in, day out, your employees give everything they've got. And because your company wouldn't be your company without them, you provide Unum Benefits. Unum Benefits help protect your employees should the unexpected happen. Because you want to be there for them, just like they are for you. Unum, better benefits at work.
People think that Honda is always the most fuel-efficient choice. Well, the Chevy Cobalt XFE has better highway mileage than a comparable Honda Civic. The Chevy Traverse has better mileage than a Honda Pilot. The all-new Chevy Equinox has better mileage than Honda CR-V, and Chevy Malibu has better mileage than Accord. However, Honda does make something that we just can't compete with. It's self-propelled.
Chevy, compare us to anyone and may the best car win.
If you make international calls, only Vonage gives you unlimited calls around the world and in the U.S. for just $24.99. Introducing Vonage World. Call 877-4VONAGE today. Then call India, all of India, or Brazil, all of Brazil. In fact, call all corners of over 60 countries free. And now, with the new Vonage mobile app, you can also save over 50% on calls to dozens of countries on your iPhone or BlackBerry smartphone. Go to Vonage.com for a free trial.
Good kill.
So like relax, I'm spilling these raps long as you feel them to the day that I drop. Never say that I'm not killing them. Cause when I am not, then I'ma stop pinning them. And I am not involved, and I'm just not giving them. To the light, to the way, give out, ain't shit, come out, to the smoke. Light 'em up!
Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2.
Get your limited edition Xbox 360 console.
Rated M for mature.
Welcome back. The Scarlet Knights striking quickly in the opening possession. This is a new tradition here, by the way. Andrew DePaula is the long snapper as a special teamer. Keep chopping. That's always been the motto here. It means like no matter what happens, just keep chopping away, keep chopping at that tree, and eventually it will fall down.
Victories. Go on the handle if you win.
Yep, 6 of them. You can't count more than one win against a 1AA team, so they need to get that 7 win tonight to be bowl eligible. Same thing for the Bulls. Dontavia Bogan takes it 2 yards deep. Guys, this is shades of the Bulls' previous game against West Virginia. The Mountaineers came right down the field, scored an 80-yard drive, and then, crucial, the Bulls had to answer. They went for it, got it, 4th and 1 at their own 40. Try to send a message, and now B.J. Daniels trots out here and tries to do the same thing. On the road, cold night. Some would question their motivation. Already in a hole. Let's see how they respond. Right away, Daniels in the shotgun. Mo Plancher is to his right. He's the senior tailback, the leading rusher on the team. After Daniels, he actually leads the team in rushing yards. It's a nice delivery far side as the Knights brought pressure off the edge, but the completion for 9 yards to A.J. Love. Impact players.
Yeah, he needs to step up. With Carlton Mitchell not on the field, A.J. Love moves back to the X-receiver position. He needs to make a lot of plays tonight, particularly downfield.
And I like Mo Plancher. He's overcome a lot of injuries in his career. He seems to get better with every carry.
Already gotten a glimpse of the Bulls defense. Jason Pierre-Paul, the bookend pass rusher opposite Selby, a very talented junior, comes from Haiti. So on 2nd and 1, they hand it off inside. This is Plancher spinning for a first down across the 30.
We talked about B.J. Daniels earlier and how he can extend plays, sometimes for 10 to 12 seconds. Well, Rutgers in practice this week, they had a redshirt cornerback play B.J. Daniels on the scout team and would run around for 10, 12 seconds, 14 seconds, try to simulate what it's like playing against this athlete at quarterback.
This is a concern for the Knights defense. Alex Silvestro, junior defensive end. Excellent player being looked at.
Well, one thing about Rutgers, they've got 8 different guys over there they like to rotate around, so they feel like they've got some depth on that defensive line.
You expect those defensive linemen today to get pretty winded. I mean, they're going to be chasing a quarterback in B.J. Daniels that's going to be moving sideline to sideline. You want to keep that depth, and you can't keep it when guys are injured on the sidelines.
Part of a really big weekend in the Big East. Obviously, West Virginia and Cincinnati playing tomorrow, and then Pittsburgh in a non-conference game hosting Notre Dame at the Heinz. Charlie Weiss under the microscope. And Wannstedt with the defense that leads the nation in sacks. Most of you will see that game. Some will see Texas Tech. And Adam James visiting Stillwater. Will be a week from tonight as the Pokes entertain the Buffaloes. 8 o'clock Eastern time on ABC.
You know, watching Pittsburgh play, I've had one game again. They played UConn earlier, did it. I get the feeling Wannstedt's recruiting players that used to go to Notre Dame. Now they're playing for Pittsburgh. Yeah, got some good talent.
Replacing Sylvester, guys, is Justin Francis, one of 11 Floridians on this Rutgers roster. A lot of guys extra motivated tonight to take on players that they played against in high school or just knew growing up. Daniels, doesn't take much for him to take off. He's tracked down after about a 2-yard gain by Damaso Munoz.
Damaso Munoz, a linebacker, has great speed. We've seen it on tape. I think tonight you're going to see Rutgers. They're going to have one player on any given play spying B.J. Daniels. It could be a safety. It could be a linebacker like you saw right there.
But you know what the key there, Jesse, is obviously if you're a spy, a guy could telegraph it to you. If you don't have the speed to make the play in open space, you got no chance. But Munoz, he has the speed to do it in space.
Play clock at 5, 1 second and 7. BJ's got to hurry. And he saw it just in time and called a timeout to avoid the 5-yard penalty. Bulls trying to answer the opening touchdown drive of Rutgers. Impressive start for the Scarlet Knight offense that has struggled at times this season. And we'll see what the Bulls can do. We'll take a break.
My top pick this season, Applebee's 2 for $20 game time lineup. 1 appetizer, 2 entrees, $20. Kicking things off, Dan Wingmaster Wilson and Joe Appetizer Davis score with boneless buffalo wings. Second half, 7-ounce house sirloin and 3 cheese chicken penne. Dan goes for the fake. Denied. Let's break it down. 1 appetizer to share, 2 entrees. Final score, $20. This deal could go all the way. 2 for $20, only at Applebee's. Score.
This is a Honda Pilot, and this is the Chevy Traverse. It has more cargo space than Pilot, including the most space behind the 3rd row. And Traverse beats Honda on highway gas mileage, too. More fuel efficient and 30% more room. Maybe Traverse can carry that stuff, too.
The Chevy Traverse, America's best crossover. Compare us to anyone, and may the best car win.
For the first time in history, more people live in cities than anywhere else.
Which means cities have to get smarter.
New York has smart crime fighting.
Paris has smart healthcare.
Smart traffic systems in Brisbane keep traffic moving.
Galway has smart water.
Smart meters in Dallas, Houston,
and a smart grid in Copenhagen keep energy flowing.
Smart ideas are happening all over the world.
I want to bring them all together in your city.
The smarter Paris.
The smarter Stuttgart.
São Paulo.
Copenhagen.
Kyoto.
Planet of smarter cities.
That's what I'm working on.
I'm an IBMer.
Let's build a smarter planet.
My wife shows me a designer dress that she bought on eBay the other day. And I'm like, oh, that's cute. And she's like, well, it's last season, so I got it for 40% off. I told her I'd like it a lot better if it were 100% off. She looked at me and said, you need to go feed the kids. Nothing says romance like chicken tenders.
For great clothes with smaller price tags, come to think of it, eBay.
I mean, at what age are kids old enough to feed themselves? My daughter's 4.
ESPN's College Football Primetime is presented by Applebee's. It's a whole new neighborhood. And in part by Chevy and their award-winning cars, trucks, and crossovers.
Has realized that about 140 years ago, last week, November 1869, the very first college football game, Rutgers 6, Princeton 4. It was not football like we know it. They have 25 guys on each team, about 100 fans watching, and the statue which commemorates that game. Each Rutgers players walk past that as they come to the stadium. To feel what now the current gymnasium stands. So Alex Silvestro back into defensive end for Rutgers on 2nd and 7. Daniels steps up again, flips high, and it's intercepted. It was off the hands of A.J. Love and picked off by Jones, the young corner. Brandon Jones, who's made a name for himself in his freshman season.
You know, stepping up into the pocket's one thing. A nice job by Daniels. Buys a little time, just a little high with a throw off the fingertips. And again, Rutgers defense been doing this all season.
That's their 26th takeaway, Craig. And I think watching B.J. Daniels throw this football, he just relaxed at the very end. Sometimes those very short throws can be the hardest because you have to stay focused and committed to the throw. Follow through so the nose of the football comes down and you complete that pass.
That's 12 picks now to go with a 14 fumble recoveries and a streak of 15 straight games with a takeaway. So already up 7-0. Rutgers back to work at the Bulls' 41-yard line. Savage fires downfield, complete on first down, and once again it's Sanu twisting. He beat Jerome Murphy, the guy who got the penalty in the first drive, and then Murphy was out, and for the touchdown, Kayvon Webster, the true freshman, got beat for the play.
And you know what? What I'm amazed at right now is the rhythm Savage is being, the time he has in the pocket to throw the ball.
Tell you what, throwing that football into some wind also, you could see the big-time arm. That was an NFL-type throw right there for a true freshman.
Martinek, now they call Jersey Joe. Busts up the middle before Murphy stops him.
Well, one thing that you talk about Tom Savage, you know, and Jesse as a quarterback, you know this, he came in early and drove in. He didn't get to transfer early and enroll in January, but the time he took to spend here and go through practices and watch them.
Unbelievable. In the spring, he came to 14 of 15 spring practices by himself, drove from his hometown in Philadelphia just to be with the team.
That's a lot of tolls up and down the turnpike.
Oh, yeah.
About an hour ride. You fake it to Martinek. Savage on the edge, flips it short, and a big collision as D.J. Jefferson, the redshirt freshman tight end, got whacked by Chris Robinson, who wasn't in there the opening series for USF. Aaron said he was trying to stretch his leg out, and now he'll head to the sidelines again.
Yeah, that big tight end, it probably it messed up the other leg, but Jefferson was a quarterback. You know, they had so much talent at quarterback that Coach Yano said, hey, what do you think about playing a little tight end? I think you can get to Sunday there.
And the fact that he's 6'6" and 245. He looks a lot more like a tight end. There's some young, talented, skilled players in this Rutgers team. On third down, there's another dart, but it's incomplete. In and out of the hands of Julian Hayes as Gerald Young was defending. So fourth down.
It's a nice job by Tom Savage. He understood there was pressure. He had to get that football out, went to the right guy. You get down in those red zones, though. As wide receivers, you have to look those catches in. It's a windy night. It's not going to be guaranteed.
So it's almost a win for the Bulls defense after the interception, forcing a field goal attempt from Sansan T. He was 11 of 17, but 40 or less. He's very reliable, 10 of 13. There's a high snap. Good job by Teddy Delegana to get it down, and T knocks it through. So 2 possessions, 10 points for Rutgers as they cash in the pick of B.J. Daniels for 3. Redshirt freshman back to work for USF, and we come back.
What if the barriers we always thought were there suddenly weren't? Introducing a TV designed to set your viewing experience free.
Jim, when you touch down at Hampton, you wake up a winner.
That's right, Tracy. Thanks to their complimentary hot breakfast. Omelet.
Sausage.
French toast sticks.
I love French food and sticks.
It's time to feel the championship back up for grabs. Feel a sure thing falter.
Trouble in front of you, trouble. Stay high, stay high.
And a seasoned vet move back into the picture.
You stumped the board, you stumped the buddy.
With only 2 races left in the chase, it's time to feel the fight to be champion go down to the wire.
Red flag, red flag.
The chase continues at Phoenix, Sunday at 2:30 Eastern on ABC. Telecast presented by Goodyear.
Your tire's all flat and junk. Oh, did I do that? Here, let me get my cellular out. Call your wrecker. Oh, shoot. I got no phone. 'Cause I'm a pothole. So... Okay, bye.
Accidents are bad. But Geico's good with emergency road service.
You value your friends. So does DirecTV. Bob's worth 100. So are Carrie, Ann, and Sue. For every friend you refer to DirecTV, you get $100, and they get $100 on top of our new customer offer. Just give your account number to your friends and have them call 1-877-4-100 each. They must have your account number when they order. This offer's only good for a limited time, so hurry. Then celebrate and watch the Benjamins stack up.
Good start for the Scarlet Knights. They took the opening kickoff 80 yards, then the interception. A short little march, 22 yards in 4 plays, and the field goal makes it 10-0.
I got to give you my observation so far in this game is I think South Florida USF came into this game, and I don't think that they respected Rutgers. I don't think they thought the motor was going to be up there matching what they had.
What? They lost to them huge.
I understand.
Last year, it lost to them 3 straight times.
I'm just telling you,
how do you not respect the team?
I think they thought they were better than this football team.
This is Bogan. Lets it back, and Dante Bogan spinning to about the 30-yard line. Well, Jim Leavitt wanted his team to play with some rage, energy, and enthusiasm for 60 minutes. Those were the watchwords last game against West Virginia, because there have been times when this team, frankly, does not quite show up. We'll see if they can respond now.
Well, they did it 2 weeks ago against West Virginia. They thought they would have that tonight for 4 quarters. We'll find out. Right now, looking a little bit flat on both sides of the football.
Yeah, but and I understand that 3-game losing, but I don't get the sense of urgency that USF should have in this game.
Well, I agree with that, but how could it be a lack of respect for Rutgers, which has just beaten them 3 straight times?
Rutgers beat them last year 49-16 in Tampa. It was the most points USF ever gave up in a loss in Big East play. Head coach Jim Leavitt has been reminding his football team since training camp about that loss.
This is a concern again. Devin McCourty, the man who Greg Schiano calls his best defensive player, the senior, an NFL future. Speedy guy is their returner down on the field. Not sure what the problem is as they diagnose it. He's pointing at his left knee. We'll take a quick break.
Before there was a United States, our college was founded in the heart of New Jersey.
Before I became a CEO in the global marketplace.
Before I earned my Super Bowl ring.
Before
I was hired as the apprentice.
Before I wow my audiences on stage.
Before I won the Pulitzer Prize.
I learned about the world.
I earned my degree. I was a Rhodes Scholar. I studied writing.
I motivate my students. At Rutgers.
At Rutgers. At Rutgers.
Jersey roots, global reach.
Devin McCourty up and walking off. This is a guy that incredibly played at 111 snaps against Connecticut. Unbelievable. The last game, 86 on defense. He plays on all the special teams. Hard to see from there what the injury might have been. They checked the stability of his left knee. Seemed to be okay, and again, he was able to walk off.
He's a guy that cannot afford to lose. When you look at the speed at wide receiver from USF, they need to have Devin McCourty out on the field.
Tremendous stamina. 111 plays in a game is mind-boggling. He said he just had to get into the locker room and collapse for about 5 minutes to regroup before he could even move. Daniels whistle before the play.
Ball start. Offense. Number 74. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
The offensive line shuffled a bit. Matt Popik is starting at right tackle as the normal tackle. Jake Sims moves over to right guard. That's good news. McCourty back on the field. Hate to see something ruin a guy's senior year and a guy with a bright future in football. We'll see join his big brother Jason in the NFL next year. Jason no doubt looking in tonight. So second and really long, and Daniels takes off quickly. Schiano's strategy to have two hacks around the quarterback at all times. That was McCourty flying up to make the tackle.
Yeah, Greg Schiano told us on defense they're going to try to confuse B.J. Daniels and show him a bunch of different looks. They're going to have a lot of action up front, a lot of stunts, a lot of games to try to get guys in the backfield.
You saw what Rutgers did on that left side. They gave him a look like he was blitzing off the top side, which pushed down Daniels to the right side. Just gives him a different look, knocks his eyes off the field.
See the kind of pressure they have cooked up here on 3rd and 11. They're spying him, but they'll bring the blitz, and Daniels runs out of time and gets dropped. One of the talented freshmen who plays defense, Steve Bornes, on the tackle.
Well, you know, let's go ahead and let's just show you these two guys right here. Those are your spies, Chris, that you were talking about.
At some point, as a young quarterback, you have to know when the clock goes off, you have to get rid of the football. And B.J. Daniels has all the physical ability in the world, and he thinks he can make every throw and every play. But again, taking sacks will kill this football team.
So Delbert Alvarado on the punt. It's a low kickoff. Just running out of the way is Sanu, going to roll dead inside the Rutgers 25-yard line. So another good defensive stand for the Scarlet Knights, and Savage will go back to work up 10-zip. Our Applebee's weekend menu. We talked over the game tomorrow night in Cincinnati. How do you see that one?
You know what? That's going to be a good football game. Cincinnati, their big decision is what they're going to do with Tony Pike. Zach Caleros, we've seen him. Hey, I'm superstitious. I wouldn't change quarterbacks, even if Pike's ready. I know he's good, but we've watched Caleros do a heck of a job with that Cincinnati football team.
Doesn't matter who's playing quarterback for them. 483 yards of offense per game. Noel Devine may not go in that game as well, which is huge for West Virginia.
Sure is. We'll talk more about the game that I checked there. TCU and Utah. That's where game they'll be on Saturday. Huge game in the Mountain West. Here's a handoff inside to Martinek. Not much there. Boy, the quarterback dilemma at Cincinnati. I mean, Tony Pike gets injured the game that we had down in Tampa when they beat the Bulls, and Zach Caleros so good in relief in that game, and he's been unbelievable throwing the football when Pike's been injured. Look at that, 79%.
And he can run the football as well. He adds a different dimension. But I agree with
what would you do? What would you do?
Well, I would go to Tony Pike, and this is why. A, you cannot forget the body of work before he got injured, what he did last year. And B, he's 6'6". He can stand in the pocket, see the pressures, and he plays.
Let me tell you, when you're hot, you don't change it.
It's off the fingertips of Sanu. Savage floated that one out there. Jerome Murphy in coverage, and Sabbath Joseph brought some pressure. But do you guys disagree on this?
I do. I think Caleros, just because he's hot. Now, I'm not saying anything negative about Tony Pike. We all agree he's a good player. Caleros, he surprised us all, though. He can do it with his legs and his arm.
It's the risk you take with a quarterback who's not now played 3.5 games in Tony Pike. Can he just come back in against a good team in West Virginia and be like he was before? It's tough to say.
Now the young quarterback for Rutgers, Savage, facing a 3rd and 9, and the Bulls are showing pressure off the edge, and they bring it. Broke down the protection, and Savage has only thrown one pick all year. Lucky not to have that one picked up as Jason Pierre-Paul got him.
And there's just one extra. You'll see on the left side, Jesse, there's just one extra guy coming, but it was enough to disrupt and to allow the rhythm to be off for the first time from Savage.
And this offensive line has been up and down this year. They gave up 22 sacks heading into tonight's game. They really got to shore up because you know USF's going to be pinning their ears back tonight.
See, Savage is hard to knock in. Pierre-Paul kind of hit him, and he kind of just bounced off, and Savage still got the throwaway. Eddie Delegana in the punt after the 3 and out. And that punt is with the wind. Horns reach up, risky attempt to field it, ball still loose, scooped up by Rutgers. Deron Harmon has the ball at the 10. They'll spot it back as a muff. Devin McCourty was right there to cause the problem. And Rutgers, already rolling, will take over in great field position at about the 20.
You see how the wind already affecting some of these players. Theron Horns right there, kind of losing the ball in the air. Didn't body catch it, tried to catch it over his head, and when you do that, it's a really tough catch to make.
And you know what, I think he just felt like McCourty was going to hit him, and he pulled up, and the pressure there put him out of rhythm. You know, he didn't see the ball, didn't make the adjustment, the wind was moving, and just disoriented.
Levitt pleading his case. He thinks that perhaps the punt returner was interfered with, but now a sudden change for this Bulls defense, some confusion as they run guys out late. Rutgers takes over at the 21. The muff can't be advanced, so that's where it is. And again, Sanu is in at quarterback. The freshman keeps it and muscles straight ahead. They don't have a fancy name. We said it. You call it the Wild Knight, which has kind of a different meaning.
I like the Wild Knight.
You would like the Wild Knight. That's your life.
But Mohamed Sanu, Greg Schiano said, is maybe the best ball carrier on Rutgers football team. They have to find creative ways to get him involved. You see that big frame.
And we all wanted to leave the booth in pregame to go down on the field just so we could see Sanu's body. You know, we wanted to see really how did he measure up in, in cleats. How did he look?
Well, you see Savage motioning out. The other true freshman keeps it again. This time hit in the backfield. Joseph, good job penetrating. Sanu able to still dive near the first down.
I like how Rutgers is using the Wildcat. They're getting Tim Brown involved as well. And we talked to Joe Tracy, the defensive coordinator for USF. He said the two guys we're focused on in this game is number 2, Tim Brown, number 6, Mohamed Sanu. That's the speed. Those are the playmakers.
The one thing that I'm seeing, though, is Sanu. Mohamed Sanu is a talented player, but he hasn't figured out how to read that option yet. It's one thing to put talent back there, but you got to be able to read and understand what you're doing with that football.
So 3rd and short. Sanu is out. Martinek behind a fullback and a couple of tight ends to the left. And Martinek hit in the backfield, able to hurdle down near the 11. Spot will be near that yellow line. There's a first down.
We alluded to this earlier in the game about the rushing offense against Big East opponents. Rutgers averaging just 1.3 a carry. So a weakness for a team that has a reputation to be able to run the football.
Again, trying to manufacture some rushing yardage.
Yeah, that's what you're talking about, Chris. That's that Wild Knight. You know, manufacture.
Pitch to Martinek. And penetration, but he's able to pick his way for a few. Keon Wilson, the middle linebacker, wearing number 10 tonight with help from Nate Allen, the safety.
Rutgers has struggled at times running the football this year, but I think Joe Martinek might be the right type of runner against USF's defense. Craig, we talked about it earlier. They're fast and they run sideline to sideline. Sometimes the guy that just goes north-south and just pounds you.
Gets you the guaranteed 4.
Yeah,
you know, the 4 will turn into 8, but you know, he's had back-to-back 100-yard games, which is the first since Ray Rice, and so he has the ability, but I like the bouncing ball attitude, yeah.
2nd and 5, once again, some confusion in the South Florida defense. They run personnel off late. Now they're trying to match up, and it's Savage across the middle, delivering high, and almost picked. It was tipped there, and then off the back, DJ Jefferson, the tight end, and young guy got away with the throw into traffic there.
That's who he wanted to hit, too, and I think Jefferson was there, you know, and just in the middle of the field. I don't know if an arm got in the way. Ball got deflected just a little bit at the line of scrimmage.
Big 3rd down coming up, and surprisingly, this is where Tom Savage, as a true freshman, has been very efficient. Was completing 60% of his balls on 3rd down coming into tonight.
After a quick start, though, Savage has missed his last 4 passes. Looks left, fires at a flag at the goal line as Brown was being smothered there by John Legist. But he may have pushed off, or at least the Bulls are pointing the other direction. And is it against Rutgers? First penalty on the Scarlet Knights.
Interference. Offense. Number 6. Penalties decline. 4th down.
We got Sanu.
And you see Brown come from the inside slot, trying to get a little pick there on the inside. And
if they hadn't done that flag, they just did get there early against Brown clearly, but the pick happened first. And so the Bulls are just kind of hanging on the ropes here. They force another field goal attempt. Another chip shot from T. There's 7 of 8 inside 30 yards. Rutgers not a real good team at converting goal-to-go situations into touchdowns. It's been a real weakness. They're in the bottom 20 in the country in that department, and the snap gets away. And T, scrambling around, will be dropped for a loss. So Teddy Delagana could not handle the high snap. And Levitt's team able to survive in the final minute of the first quarter, still 10-0.
How many times have we watched football games where a team just is allowed to hang around? This ball, there's nothing wrong with that. The snap, the hold should have been there. And now USF's offense, Jesse, they got to come up and do something and get this thing back a little momentum for them.
They have to respond. You're absolutely right. But special teams tonight, we saw a muff punt earlier that set up that field goal attempt, and now the holder misplacing the snap. What's
I thought
going
maybe
on?
T was going to give you a Giro Yupremian lefty throw there as he's rolling out.
He saw Deion Wilson. He said, "Oh no."
Daniels takes a shot downfield and overthrows Dontavia Bogan. As you can see, the arm strength. He's throwing with the wind, but still got it there in a hurry.
This is what I'm talking about, though. There have been a lot of drops this year from the wide receiver position from USF. Now, Carlton Mitchell's not out on the field. That's the guy B.J. Daniels wants to go with the football. These other guys got to step up and help him out, don't they?
You know, we said that the last time we watched this football team play. The drops were there. Carlton Mitchell dropped a great pass right down the field deep for a touchdown.
He did, but he's also a guy with 5 50-yard-plus plays this season. Think about that. That's a huge number. He's the guy that Daniels looks to when things break down, as you said. This guy, A.J. Love, they need to step up, but he's not quite the deep threat.
They've got some players here. That's not the question. It's just a matter of them stepping up and making plays. And the thing that Rutgers has to do, they got to stay disciplined on the inside, or Daniels will take off with his legs.
We thought we might see Jesse Hester, who's been so hampered this year by injuries, but has had a great career. Only 4 catches this season. Hasn't gotten involved yet. Third down. Daniels against a 4-man rush. Rolls and fires along the sidelines and has a first down. And there is Hester finally getting involved. When he's healthy and he's right, and he finally is, he's a real difference maker.
And he's the answer for USF offensively on third down. I think this is a great job by B.J. Daniels scrambling to his left, but keeping his eyes downfield to find the wide open Hester on the sideline.
Well, Hester in his career games against Rutgers, 14 catches, 151 yards, so he knows how to play against the guys in red.
He had 10 of those last year, Greg. And he's had a hamstring, but now finally he's back, and let's see if he can help spark a Bulls offense that hasn't been able to find the scoreboard in the opening quarter. 10-zip Knights after 1 period.
ESPN Monday Night Football, Ravens-Browns at 8:30.
This is Maggie, a very smart little girl.
I'm not a little girl, I'm a big girl.
And this is a seat from the 7-passenger Toyota Highlander.
This is a little seat. I'm a big girl.
Well, this is the 8-passenger Chevy Traverse, which offers more room and an EPA-estimated 24 on the highway.
That's a big girl car. I want the big girl car.
A very smart little girl.
The Chevy Traverse, America's best crossover. Compare us to anyone and may the best car win.
Sun Life Financial has never taken government bailout money, yet no one knows our name. That's about to change.
So you'll pay for the tour, but I have to change my name.
No, you're still KC, but from now on, they will be the Sun Life Band.
It's funky.
Sooner or later, you'll know our name. Sun Life Financial.
Why are they selling more units?
Sir, they haven't outsold us since 01.
Actually, 03. It could be their new ad. I'm downloading it.
Interesting.
Found some photos online. They're in your inbox.
Tell me more.
Stay a step ahead on the nation's fastest 3G network, AT&T. Now now, get 50% off these Samsung touchscreen phones after mail-in rebate, only from AT&T.
No, not now.
Nothing's worse than a dead battery. And nothing's more reliable than a Duralast battery. Duralast, proven tough, only at AutoZone.
Are you or a loved one addicted to drugs or alcohol? I'm Chris Prentice of the Passages Addiction Cure Center in Malibu, California, where every day we cure people of their dependency. Passages is not a 12-step program, and we do not believe in the disease concept. My book, The Alcoholism and Addiction Cure, shows you exactly what we do at Passages so you too can save a life that's worth saving. To get my book delivered to your doorstep, call 888-THE-CURE or go to passagesmalibu.com.
Inventors, InventHelp can help you try to patent your idea and submit it to companies. Call 1-800-236-7211 for free information. That's 1-800-236-7211.
ESPN, your NBA destination. Tomorrow night, a stellar doubleheader tips off when the Hawks fly into Beantown to tangle with KG, Rasheed Wallace, and the East-leading Celtics. Then, the league's two top scorers duel in Denver, where Kobe leads the sizzling defending champs against Carmelo and company in a Western Conference Finals rematch. NBA Friday night doubleheader, Hawks, Celtics, and Lakers Nuggets. Coverage begins tomorrow at 7:30 Eastern on ESPN.
There's a place for you to go to get the latest on the teams you care about most. Fans in Chicago, Boston, and Dallas-Fort Worth log on for local sports news, radio highlights, and updates. And coming soon, ESPN Los Angeles and ESPNNewYork.com. You figured that out yet, Craig, with the laptop? You going there for
Yeah, now I'm trying to figure out how they divide it and don't send the signal everywhere.
Getting out the second quarter. Bulls trying to get something going here. Hand it off. It's Mike Ford, his first carry of the night, just 2 first downs and had 34 total yards in the opening quarter for USF.
But they want to open the offense up. Offensive coordinator Mike Canales told us that against Pitt a couple weeks back, they really kind of put the strains on B.J. Daniels. A lot of under center, only threw the football 8 times. They want to just open the offense up, allow the young freshman quarterback to run around and make plays.
Ford again hesitates, and he'll lose yardage. McCourty, the aggressive corner, held him up until friends got there.
I can tell you right now, I was counting the tailback on the ball carrier. He was 8 yards deep when that ball was snapped. And Rutgers' speed on defense, very few guys can get 8 yards deep and have a blocker hold his block that long.
They're tough to run against. They've given up only 3.3 yards per carry this year. USF is going to have to find ways to get more than that.
Need 7 on third down. Nice. Bring pressure. Daniels in deep trouble. Throws into the sidelines where it's caught. Was there a receiver over there? Officials will confer. Yeah, there comes the flag. He was well within the tackle box and threw the ball directly to the sidelines. Nobody in the area. A lot of pressure. George Johnson, the defensive end. Steve Boharness, with a talented true freshman linebacker, they brought the house.
There's no penalty on the play for intentional grounding. The quarterback was in the grass being tackled, which affected the pass. 4th down.
Wow. It's a good call. See right here. Here's the tackle box right here. We'll see B.J. Daniels just drop back. Here comes the rush up the middle. He gets held, and they're saying that the grass affected that throw.
Who's he throwing it to?
Yeah, that's right.
That's a generous interpretation of that, because maybe Jim Leavitt was the only one open over there on the sidelines.
Those coaches working the officials hard in this game.
Sanu, we talked a lot about him. Back deep to receive the punt. Snap. Alvarado able to get it away. Snoop called a fair catch, but then got out of the way. And that line drive will roll dead inside the 15-yard line. So Rutgers dominant so far tonight. Was back on offense up 10-0.
My
top pick this season? Applebee's 2 for $20 game time lineup. 1 appetizer, 2 entrees, $20. Kicking things off, Dan Wingmaster Wilson and Joe Appetizer Davis score with boneless buffalo wings. Second half, 7-ounce house sirloin and 3 cheese chicken penne. Dan goes for the fake. Denied. Let's break it down. 1 appetizer to share, 2 entrees. Final score, $20. This deal could go all the way. 2 for $20. Only at Applebee's. Score.
Well, I'm missing all the times we had together.
You and me hanging out whenever.
Why do we have to hide this thing we have? It's just not right. I'm so glad we're finally here together forever.
Your Windows stuff goes where you go. New Windows Phone at AT&T.
They've done it again. DirecTV will soon have the capacity for over 200 HD channels.
Oh, for a second there, I thought you said 200.
I did.
Son of a... What is it with those guys?
For a future of over 200 HD channels, call 1-800-DIRECTV.
I'm here with Troy Polamalu. Tell us about the goal line stand.
Well, I owe my great hair to Head & Shoulders. It's for more than just dandruff.
That's not what I asked, Troy.
Isn't it?
No.
Isn't it?
Yes.
Head & Shoulders, 7 benefits, 1 bottle.
Wow. My hunger's just gone. I wonder where it goes. I don't know, maybe Germany?
Die Hungereis! What if your entire social life came to you? Friends, family, work email, personal email, messages, updates, and feeds. Everything.
Out of my way, creature!
Constantly updated and streamed together in one place. So you can keep track of whatever you want and focus on what matters most.
Hello.
Introducing MotoBlur, only on the Motorola Click, the first phone with social skills.
Wow. My hunger's just gone. I wonder where it goes. I don't know, maybe Germany?
Die Hungereis!
Now, Christmas about 6 weeks away, so Shannon's got time to take in a football game, although he had ripped off his beard a second ago. Now he's...
It probably was a little bugging him, but he brought it back out.
Well, I tell you what, playing Santa Claus tonight so far, the Bulls, very generous gift right there. The 15-yard penalty to set up a touchdown, then off Love's hands, the interception to set up another field goal. They didn't get, have to pay the price for this muff here, but the mistakes piling up early on.
Yeah, and you know what? When you talk about the offense or lack of 37 total yards for USF, of course, there's only 90 for Rutgers, but I thought USF would put some yards and points on the board.
A lot of football left.
First down throw for Savage. Takes a shot downfield, looking for Brown. And it's picked off. Jerome Murphy able to gather in that pass from Savage. It's the second pick all season long for the freshman.
We said coming into this football game that USF does a great job of taking the football away from their opponents. And they've had 43 total interceptions in their last 34 games. So, Savage, Jesse, don't force something like that down the field.
I'll tell you what, I cannot argue, though, with where he threw that football. When he let that go, you're told to throw it to the outside shoulder of your wide receiver. There was a lot of cushion given by Jerome Murphy. Tim Brown actually took an inside stem and almost left his quarterback out to dry. What about the catch, though? What about the catch by Jerome Murphy, even just pulling that in?
So the Bulls to work, and Love makes the catch. A.J. Love trying to redeem himself for that interception earlier that went off his hands. Beat Zaire Kitchen all the way to the 25, and finally the Bulls able to make a big play. 37 yards.
Yeah, this is just confusion here at Rutgers. Devin McCourty on the left side. He just messed up on his coverage.
They're still going up tempo here. Bulls hurry to the line, and Daniels loses the football, and Rutgers comes up with it. So after the big play, Antonio Lowry forced the fumble. Blair Bynes recovered it. And the third Bulls turnover.
second big mistake by B.J. Daniels. He threw the pick earlier, just getting careless here with the football. He's got to tuck that away. What about the Rutgers defense and sudden change?
Yeah, the sudden change, but you got to say tuck that football away. He acts like he's going to throw it. That's a run. And he ran.
I was telling us guys how he holds the ball like a loaf of bread because Daniels has huge hands, but that time got careless with it, and a good play by Lowry to knock it loose.
He'd have 3 points of pressure on the football at all times, especially carrying it out there in space.
Freshman and freshman.
Yeah.
Both quarterbacks.
Both quick turnovers, and now Rutgers gets the ball back. No damage done by the interception. And this is Martinek. Had a phenomenal high school career here in the state of New Jersey. Gets about 3. And Reese Davis, we'll check in with him for SportsCenter right now. Reese?
All right, Chris, 3 Tennessee football players were arrested and charged with armed robbery. Jansen Jackson and Mike Edwards have been released from jail. Keith Richardson remains in jail on bond. In the NBA, the Hornets have fired head coach Byron Scott. Jeff Bauer will take over. More details on those stories, SportsCenter after the game. Stay current, ESPN News.
Reese, thank you. Troubling development for Lane Kiffin and his staff at Tennessee, for sure. This is Martin again hammering. It'll be 3rd and about 2. Murphy stopped him.
We've talked about the miscues for USF in this game so far. We talked to Coach Levitt earlier in the week, and he told us it was really hard for him still at this point of the year to get a pulse on his team. They're young. He doesn't know when they're going to show up, when they're not. And right now,
they answered the bell, though, for him last week because we thought that midseason swoon was coming big. And so did they. You know, when they came out and thumped West Virginia, that was a big answer to a lot of questions that I had about this team.
They got to follow it up tonight.
Yeah, right.
High formation on 3rd and a yard and a half. They fake it to Martinek and Savage. Throws it down the middle of the field and finds D.C. Jefferson. And the freshman tight end is into Bulls territory as they throw it downfield on 3rd and short.
And Jefferson shows his smarts. Watch the left side, how he waits, delays, allows the linebackers to suck up on the play action.
Jefferson has struggled at times moving to tight end, but this is one thing he's very natural at. 6'6", and he catches the ball effortlessly. You see it right there.
Savage able to get the pass away just before George Selvey ran into him. So gamble call on 3rd and short pays off, and Rutgers is on the move again. Savage be trapped and dropped in the backfield. Jason Pierre-Paul with his 3rd sack of the season. Guy from Haiti with a tall wingspan, very athletic guy.
You know what? His last 4 games, 1 forced fumble, 7 tackles for loss, a sack, interception, touchdown. What else can he do?
Well, he's athletic. He can do a backflip in pads. He just started playing football his junior year in high school, so he's still learning.
Basketball guy, as a young kid.
Mel Kiper has him as his 13th overall prospect on the big board. How about that?
Ahead of Selvey?
Yeah, way ahead of Selvey.
As a junior, huh? Pressure off the edge. Knights pick it up and a completion to Sanu, far side. 1st down in front of Murphy. Sanu continues to have an excellent night.
And again, this is a true freshman. You know, he might be a little bit older, but the route running and the timing, the confidence Savage has in him.
And I think at some point, Craig, these corners are going to have to get closer to these receivers and not allow the cushion.
They flip it to Brown, and Brown has blockers along the sideline. You see the burst of the senior playmaker. Murphy shoved him out, but a nice gain inside the 25.
And there you're seeing, again, creativity by Rutgers coaching staff, getting Brown the football.
Either whether it's running the football or through the passing game and finding Sanu on the perimeter, those are the 2 guys Rutgers wants to get the football. Those are the guys that need the ball in their hands.
Rutgers going up tempo now. Savage spinning out. And just throws it away.
One thing that we've seen over the years following Schiano and Rutgers football program is the talent level. He's proving that he's out there recruiting and bringing guys in. Like Savage, sitting here watching the guy, he's got a bright future.
Well, ESPN Scouts Inc. says that this was the #1 recruiting class this past season in the Big East. And you're seeing a lot of the true freshmen out on the field producing.
Yeah. Top 25 in the country.
Yeah.
Never had a class like this before. Seeing a lot of them make quick impact, hitting the quarterback here. This is Cordell Young who takes the handoff from Savage, and flags come in as he is tackled inside the 20 by Pierre-Paul.
Legal block in the back. Offense, 75. 10-yard penalty, second down.
It's the talented future NFL tackle Anthony Davis. Matchup that the scouts will like to see tonight. Big number 75 against Selby, and occasionally Pierre-Paul, but Selby is almost on the right side.
Well, in 44% of the snaps Selby's been in this year, he's been double or triple teamed, but that number's really shrunk the last 3 weeks. And the biggest reason why is because this Jason Pierre-Paul on the other side taking a lot of that attention away from Selby.
Now Paul is shifted over to the right side opposite Davis on 2nd and 20. The carom collects it, but he'll be hit immediately. So Aaron Harris, the big tackle, got his hand on it. The reception for Savage, but nothing there.
This is one of those that you don't see happen very often in the course of a football season. But again, the pressure coming in there on Davis, getting pushed back into the quarterback.
How about that? Completion and reception on the same play.
USF defense, Chris, they're stepping up again.
Sure are. This is a crucial stand here. Already down 10-0. Pushing Rutgers back, and now it's 3rd and 22. Savage flips it short off the hands. The receiver was Cordell Young out of the backfield, and they threw it behind him. And a once promising Rutgers drive stalling.
Just a lack of execution there by Rutgers. They had that screen set up. That wouldn't have gone all the way, but what that would have done is put this team in a much more makeable field goal position.
This will be a career long. The attempt from Sansante from 51 yards. He was hitting them from about 54 in warm-up. Our spotter Mike Black says this is the direction with the wind. It's it pretty well, but it drifts wide right. Had the leg from 51. Once again, Rutgers just unable to add to this lead. They've had a few opportunities, but Schiano still leads 10-0.
They've been tested, built, and driven like no other. And now they're being offered like no other. Come to the winter event and get an exceptional offer on the Mercedes-Benz of your dreams. It's our way of showing a little holiday spirit. But hurry, the offer ends soon.
Are hidden travel fees holding you back? Book direct at choicehotels.com, where you can get the best internet rate guaranteed. And now, when you stay 3 straight nights, you can earn a free night. Book now at choicehotels.com or 800-4CHOICE.
That is a ton of pepperoni.
That was delivered fast.
It's not delivery, and we'd like it back.
Do you order one too?
Can I have my pizza, please?
You've reached Greg and Doug.
That's not yours.
If you leave your name and number...
Can I have the pizza back, please?
New DiGiorno Ultimate Toppings Pepperoni with 50% more awesome pepperoni. For more of what you love, taste, believe. It's not delivery, it's DiGiorno Ultimate Toppings.
Don't come down here. We're naked.
I can see you.
Try Chick-fil-A's Peppermint Chocolate Chip Milkshake, available only for the holidays.
The chances of making it into the NFL are over 1,000,000 to 1. But how he got there
Do you have any place to stay tonight?
defied all odds. The Blind Side, rated PG-13, starts November 20th.
ESPN's College Football Primetime. Brought to you by the Mercedes-Benz E-Class, one of the most advanced automobiles on the planet. And Comfort Inn, a place to relax after a busy day of travel. For great rates, book now at comfortinn.com.
Is there a man shooting a photographer? And that's called a Fat Darryl. They serve that at the grease trucks here near campus. You want to do the ingredients are on a Fat Darryl? He's living to tell about it. Fried chicken fingers, mozzarella sticks, French fries, and marinara sauce on the sandwich.
I'd crush one.
I'll take 2.
Ball to Theo Wilson. And Theo Wilson streaking inside the 30-yard line. So now, finally, as Levitt sprints down the sidelines, able to create some big plays. 38 yards that time.
And here's a player now that he could step up. He's missed the last couple of games with a bad hamstring. Wilson, the quick throw, give the quarterback some yards.
And just give it to your receiver in space. Allow him to go make plays. There's no scrambling around. It's preordained. You're just going to get the guy the football. It's the extension of a running play. Go let the speed show itself.
Wilson hasn't made a catch in recent games. They need to involve other guys with Mitchell not in there tonight. Daniels fires downfield again into traffic. Incomplete. Andreas Shields, a backup tight end, little used the target that time. Aaron?
Well, Chris, I was just observing B.J. Daniels when he was over on the sidelines, obviously, before this series here, and he was very calm. I mean, despite some of his mistakes, he just sat there with his headset on, didn't talk to any wide receivers, though. Just sat there, kind of expressionless, but looked a little annoyed. A little different from what we saw against Cincinnati a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, right, Aaron. He got hot on his receivers at the end of the game. I'll pick up on that in a second here. 2nd and 10. He's a competitive guy. Gets frustrated at times. Acceleration for about 6 yards.
And late in that Cincinnati game, again, a lot of receivers had dropped passes. He was very frustrated. After this interception late in the game, there were some words exchanged between the young redshirt freshman quarterback and his wide receivers. You'll see it right here, expressing and showing that frustration. You said he's a fiery guy. He wants to win, but he's learning not just to play quarterback, but also to be a quarterback.
Daniels back, fires right into the end zone, and a mental mistake there. You can't yell at a receiver that time. Kasim Green, freshman safety, makes the pick. There really wasn't a receiver in the vicinity.
Chris, you're exactly right on that. He can't blame anybody but himself on this one here. But I thought it was the Rutgers pressure that came up the middle of the field that really, I thought, got his attention, Jesse, and it took his eyes away from what he was trying to do down the field, the late pressure in his face. B.J.
Daniels looks a little bit confused here on this play. I think he's expecting his wide receiver, A.J. Love, to take a completely different route, but you'll see he's just in the pocket. There is pressure coming up the middle from Ryan D'Imperio. But just another bad throw from the young redshirt freshman quarterback.
This defense that has specialized in takeaways all season long, cashing in again tonight, #1 in the country in turnover margin coming in. That's a big reason why they've been able to be successful despite an offense that hasn't been very potent. 4 turnovers for the Bulls tonight. Short gain for Martinek.
That's a pretty good recipe for success, though, isn't it, Chris? You know, if you got a young quarterback and a team that you're trying to put together, you're working your offensive line in there, and you know, don't turn it over and create opportunities.
That way you can just stay in football games. You got to remember, this offense coming into tonight only had 7 giveaways.
Yep, that's a big part of it. They've been able to take 4 turnovers to the end zone as well and had a return touchdown.
But going back to B.J. Daniels, what we were saying earlier, you know, yelling at his receivers on the sidelines, learning to be a quarterback, learning how to demonstrate your leadership. You don't yell at guys.
I always, if you came up to me as a quarterback, as a player, I always appreciated you talking to me about it. You know, and I didn't mind you being firm if you and I were doing mano-a-mano.
Yeah.
I don't think any player ever wants to get called out in front of somebody else.
Well, Dan Marino or Brett Favre can yell at a receiver. Not a true redshirt freshman. He just played about 5 games of football. Savage fires underneath. It's complete to Julian Hayes. Short gain. Set up 3rd down, and Keon Wilson stopped him.
You know, just to put B.J. Daniels in that issue to bed here, against West Virginia 2 weeks ago, there were a lot of times where things weren't going right. Guys were dropping balls, and he showed great leadership on the sideline. Stayed calm, went out, made plays. Now he's got to collect himself and show that leadership to a struggling offense tonight.
Bulls need to stop here in 3rd and 8 to give Daniels another chance. Savage. High Sanu comes down with it. And Mohamed Sanu showing the repertoire of skills. The hands and then the strength as he stiff-armed the defender and ran away to the 41, a 37-yard gain.
The thing that impresses me about Sanu is his route running. Watch him put his foot in the ground, comes inside 1, 2, 3, and the ball is there. That means Savage has confidence in the timing of where the ball's going, and it's a big-bodied guy, big receiver.
It's an NFL route and an NFL throw by 2 true freshmen.
Beating a senior corner, Jerome Murphy once again. Hand it off. Young runs out of a couple tackles. Asa Price loses the hat, picking up 6. Young is still down.
Boy, well, you hate seeing that.
You could hear the pads popping. He's looking at his leg. Nate Allen came up and thumped him to safety.
Cordell Young had an ACL again in 2007, and he re-injured it in the PapaJohn.com Bowl this past year. You hope it's not another knee injury. Look at the physical hitting crowd.
Yeah, you know what? There's some. Let's bring in the wood there. Nate Allen. Boy, Nate Allen, he's a playmaker, and he's physical. And
I hope it's not another knee injury. He's had such bad luck in his career. Used to be a starting running back, but because of the knee injury, it kind of slowed him. And now he's basically a third down specialist.
He's never quite gotten the burst back, has he, since surgery.
This USF defense, though, you talk about playing with their backs to the wall. Can they do it yet again? Bail the offense out after yet another mistake.
We'll take a break.
To the 8th wonder of the world, H to the Izzo, V to the Izane, to the Izzo, what? The Izane, H to the Sadie, H to the Sadie. That's the anthem. Get your hands up.
Jay-Z versus Eminem, one of 93 original mashups. DJ Hero, rated T for teen.
Red or black?
When you want to get away,
Both.
Enterprise will pick you up and get you going to romantic weekends. Pick Enterprise. We'll pick you up.
I have a little boy. Memories are so important to me. How many times do you reach down and you're looking for your camera and you just can't find it? The cell phone's always right inside your pocket. It's a smart phone. It can do it all. 5-megapixel camera, Facebook, email, Twitter, update, click, record things in high definition. This holiday season, come into Best Buy. You're given the gift of communication.
Come to Best Buy for the 3 hottest phones from Sprint. The HTC Hero, the Samsung Instinct, and the Instinct HD.
We do cell phones and we do it better than anybody else.
Struggling with credit card debt? Are you worried about making your monthly payments? The Financial Future Network will refer you to a debt settlement consultant. Feel the freedom of debt-free living. The phone call is free and there's no obligation.
It's time to feel the championship back up for grabs. Feel a sure thing falter and a seasoned vet move back into the picture. Feel the fight for the title go down to the wire. The chase continues at Phoenix, Sunday at 2:30 Eastern on ABC.
In the drive to the championship, you don't have to be in the driver's seat, but you do have to be a passenger in the car.
Nothing's changed for the top 3 teams, except for the Iowa Hawkeyes, their dream is over.
Follow the drive to the national championship all season long on College Football Final.
Cordell Young trotted off the field, but you can see the training staff looking at that right knee on the sidelines. So Joe Martinek back in the game. 2nd and 5 for the Scarlet Knights. Those legs churning, picks up about 3.
So you hear that Jesse Black 23, 2-back, 3-hole. Yeah. There's some things that you take from Pee-wee 3rd, 4th grade football. 2-back, you're going to the 3-hole, left side.
I played on football teams where if we said blue something, it was a pass because the sky was blue, and if it was green something, it was a run because the grass is green.
Is that up in Canada?
That could have been anywhere.
3rd and 2.
Never assume, Chris, that football players can go beyond blue and green.
Throw for it in 3rd and short, and it's batted down. Rutgers does not have a whole lot of trust in their 3rd and short running game. They have had limited success. Sabbath Joseph was there. Pass batted down. They're going to go for it as opposed to another long field goal attempt.
Hey, it's a big mark difference tonight. And Savage coming into this game, completing 60% on third down. He's had a couple of drops, a couple of batted down.
Those defensive linemen have done a really good job getting their hands up. If they haven't been able to get into the backfield, they put their hands up. They've now deflected a couple passes as well.
Look at Selby there. Sanu is in the slot. Savage has time and fires it incomplete. Martinek, the fullback, was well covered there. So again, Rutgers moves the ball, comes up with nothing.
What about Joe Tracy's defense? Just bending, but they don't break. They're giving their team a chance to stay in this football game.
You know what? I think that it's that you're seeing this defense carry their football team. And I don't you think, Jesse, this is the strength of the USF team?
Absolutely.
Is that it is their defense? So I'm not surprised they're having to tote them on the back tonight.
The offense has got to try to stay on the field. USF has run a grand total of 19 plays in the first half. That's it. Thanks to all the turnovers. Daniels fakes the throw. Gets away. He'll be dropped for about a 2-yard loss. Good persistence by Munoz, who tracked him down. Miami, Florida, one of those Floridians, 5 of whom start.
Shows you that speed, but you see the way the Rutgers defense made an adjustment. They completed that pass last series for a big gain. Now they come out again. The pass is taken away. The middle linebacker, Ryan D'Imperio, is on the quarterback, forcing him to scramble.
Inside of 4 minutes in this opening half. They fake it to Jamar Taylor. Daniels flushed again. This time slides at the 40, picks up about 8, set up 3rd and 4.
And you know what, though, at some point from the tight end position, the middle of the field, somewhere in there, we watched them last time that they played. We were down in Tampa, and Cincinnati was given the middle of the field, and Daniels, we kept saying he's got to see the middle of the field and throw to the middle.
Yeah, well, again, Daniels, 6'1", sometimes struggles to see over the middle of the field. He's going to have to find those throws. He's not going to have a lot of time to make them tonight.
Knights will be expecting a quarterback run on 3rd and 4. Daniels again has time, runs out of it, and gets dropped short of a first down. Jonathan Freeney stopped him. They did a good job of keeping him in the pocket there.
Yeah, and let's show you the pocket here, what we're talking about. When you get into this play here, right before Daniels takes off, look at the discipline here. You see the umbrella effect there? There's nowhere they know what he wants to do.
And there's 2 crossing routes at the top of the screen. That's where B.J. Daniels is trying to go, but a good job staying at home in his zone defense by Rutgers.
So Sanu is back deep. It's blocked. Once again, Devin McCourty, the star corner and the special teams superstar, showed his speed. He got there almost as soon as the snap did.
That's Devin McCourty's 6th block kick of his collegiate career. He does everything for this team, Craig.
You've got 3 blockers up here, and there are 4 rushers. 3 went out and blocked. That left 1 open. McCourty came right through the man wall.
Alvarado punted into his chest, and McCourty only disappointed that he couldn't scoop it up and score with it.
Now listen, if you're Rutgers offensively, this needs to be converted into points. You've had opportunities, you've let some slip. You need to reach pay dirt right here.
2:28 before halftime. Again, it's the Wildcat, and Sanu hands the ball off to Brown. That time they were all over him, about a 1.5 yard gain.
Yeah, but you know what? The tempo, Rutgers got to come out at some point. They got to take advantage of this field position and do something with it.
You wonder in the psyche of this USF defense, just having got off the field on a 4th down, all of a sudden they're back up there again going, are you kidding me?
Yep.
Again?
Well, they can get a rest at halftime, but as you said, a very important stand here. Rutgers has let a big play team like the Bulls hang in the game here. Some confusion. Play clock down at 5 now. Savage steps up, flips it short. Brown looking toward the sidelines. Has a first down before he's knocked down at the 12 by Murphy. It's been Sanu, the main weapon. And Brown has been pretty well contained tonight.
Yeah, and you know what, though? He was stopped early on. I wish we could show you here, but he stopped, and he kept going, and that extra time in the pocket allowed Brown to clear up.
Nice job by Savage, too, just staying patient. Nothing down in the end zone, checking it down to his fast receiver.
Rutgers, all 3 timeouts left if they need them. Minute 35. Here's a handoff to Martinek. 4.
That's 3 for 3 now. Every time they check at the line of scrimmage and the linemen go down and get set, put their hands on the ground, they've run the ball. I think that's probably a pretty good indication.
Well, they've struggled in the red zone this year scoring touchdowns. 13 of 27 possessions coming into the game resulted in touchdowns. They got to find ways. They're going to have to throw it against this defense.
Yeah, that's a bottom 20 in the country touchdown percentage in the red zone.
A big tight end right there.
Savage has plenty of time. Fires across the middle, over the head. Not even big D.C. Jefferson could come up with that one.
You can see he's trying to be a tight end. Now, again, he's only a freshman. He was a quarterback in high school. He committed to LSU, decommitted, and then went to Rutgers. He didn't want to play tight end right away, but Greg Schiano kind of talked him into it. The route running's a bit rough.
You know, you can't get redirected. As a receiver in college football, if you let the defender get their hands on you, you can't run your route. You're redirecting, the clock's running, the quarterback doesn't have time to sit back there.
They convinced him because they said, DC, your future at the next level is as a tight end, not a quarterback. And it's sound thinking.
I'm with you, though, Chris. You're like, hey, a 6'6", dude, you look like a tight end. Go ahead and bend on over.
Kind of looks like Jamarcus Russell, a guy that played at LSU, and that's where DC Verbilt, as Jesse mentioned. Now celebrating its 5th year, sponsoring the Good Hands Field Goal Nets. All-State makes contributions to participating universities' general scholarship funds for each field goal and extra point kick. To date, All-State has contributed more than $1.9 million in scholarship money. Field goal attempt is not what Schiano and these Rutgers fans want to see before halftime. They've just had their way statistically in this game. Seems like they had the ball in the Bulls' end all night.
I think if you're Rutgers right now, you say, okay, well, we've left 6 points on the board, but, you know, by not scoring touchdowns, having the opportunity, you're just allowing USF to hang around. I mean, this game could be wide open right now, blown open.
You don't want to leave a team like USF, which has a big play offense, in the game. I mean, Daniels makes mistakes, but he's capable of bringing them back in one play. So 3rd and 7 is the 29th snap they've had in USF territory tonight. Empty backfield. They rush 5. Savage, again, way overthrown. Shamar Graves, the other tight end, is running across the end zone, but Savage much too high.
You know what? I think we all applaud the USF defense this half for how they have hung in there. I mean, you talking about bowing their backs and when they get down there and having to pick up their offense.
And in sudden change situations with little notice, running back on the field after a turnover offensively, and not just giving up 3 points, a lot of times giving up no points.
It's a 26-yard attempt for San T. Remember, Delegana mishandling the last snap, gets this one down, and T knocks it straight through. So 44 seconds before halftime, and Rutgers extends it to 13-0 as we check back with Reese.
All right, Chris, coming up on the IBM Halftime Report, Cincinnati head coach Brian Kelly will join us, talk about his team's prospects, not only for the Big East, but perhaps a national championship. Tiger Woods drops by to visit with Dr. Lou. We'll show you why, and we'll also have the latest on the situation at Tennessee with the players arrested. Mark and Lou are here. We'll see you coming up in just a bit.
Reese, thanks. Kind of a weird first half. I mean, you talk about 4 turnovers, and it was USF with 6 turnovers a year ago in the home loss to Rutgers, and yet still down only 13-0. As bad as Levin's team has played at times, it could be worse.
It couldn't have gone worse for the offense in this first half. You talk about throwing 2 interceptions, you've had a fumble, you've muffed a punt return, you've had a punt blocked, you got to regroup. Going at halftime, being extremely fortunate that you're down only 13-0.
It's clear that Rutgers has said, we're not going to let you scramble and beat us with your legs. You're going to have to throw the ball. We don't think you can beat us, B.J. Daniels, with your arm.
USF only 26 yards rushing. Again, the problem is they just haven't had the ball. And there's almost kickoff as the miscues continue. Rutgers coverage team again with McCourty doing everything down there, swarming him at the 20-yard line. Well, Jimmy Johnson's misfortune in Texas can open the door here for Mark Martin. It's tightened up a bit. They're off to Phoenix Sunday, 2:30 Eastern Time on ABC. Presented by Goodyear. There's the crash at Texas Motor Speedway. Johnson in the 48 car in the wall had a pretty commanding lead, trying to win an historic 4th straight points title. He can still wrap it up with a couple of top 5 finishes, but you never know.
What do you think's going through that guy's mind driving a car 185 miles per hour and you're getting loose?
I think I saw Jeff Gordon in New York City, by the way, 3 days ago.
Really? What was he doing?
He was hanging out, I think, in my neighborhood, hanging out.
Walking or driving?
No, he was walking. I think he was with his wife and his kid. I could have swore it was him.
All right. You should have asked him for some tips for us up here on these promos.
B.J. Daniels just taking a knee here. Turnovers, special teams errors for the Bulls. They only run 23 plays. Rutgers plays the entire first half opponent's territory, but they have a few miscues of their own, and it's only 13-0 at halftime as Aaron visits with Jim Levitt.
Well, Coach, let me ask you first. A few miscues and turnovers here in the first half. A few, well.
We're very fortunate to be in it. 13, our defense playing their tail off. We couldn't make any more mistakes, especially teams and offense. We got a chance if we play football.
And BJ obviously frustrated with his miscues tonight. What will you say to him about that?
Move on.
Yeah.
Forget what lies behind. Reach forward what lies ahead. Move on. You can't think about the past.
All right, Coach. Thanks. Chris?
We'll see if his voice is even more gravelly after a halftime speech. 13-zip Scarlet Knights as we check back with Reese, Mark, and Lou in the studio for the IBM halftime report.
Chris, in the last 10 quarters against Rutgers, South Florida has 10 turnovers now. They had 6 turnovers against the Scarlet Knights last year, also had a punt block. Guys, you hear the Hall of Famers. We'll hear from them plenty about the games coming up this weekend. But we start with the news from Knoxville. Tennessee's had 3 players arrested and charged with armed robbery. The 3 players, Newkeith Richardson, Jansen Jackson, and Mike Edwards. Jackson is having an outstanding year. Newkeith Richardson has had some issues, but has played better of late. All of them freshmen. 2 of them, Jackson and Edwards, have been released from jail. Richardson, at last report, remains in jail, charged with armed robbery in connection with an incident outside a convenience store early this morning. Still to come on the IBM halftime report, TCU in a showdown with Utah. See who has the edge as the Horned Frogs try to remain perfect. And Cincinnati head coach Brian Kelly will join us on the eve of their Big East clash against West Virginia.
ESPN Monday Night Football, Ravens-Browns at 8:30.
Here's hoping you find something special in your driveway this holiday. Get an exceptional offer on the Mercedes-Benz you've always wanted at the winter event going on now. But hurry, the offer ends soon.
When I think of value, I think of something that's going to last. Something that's priced right. I think of Wrangler. Always have.
For unbeatable comfort and value, you can count on Wrangler 5-star premium denim jeans. Built comfortable with a relaxed fit. Priced right for a great value.
You can pay more, but you won't get more.
Wrangler, real, comfortable jeans.
Is it true that your team has one of the highest graduation rates?
Big East has always had great academic success. Did you know the Big East had 27 NFL draft picks and 3 were first-round selections last year?
That doesn't surprise me.
This is one tough league. Big East bowl teams are 12-4 in the last 3 years.
Congrats on winning the Big East championship last year. Can you repeat?
we're sure going to try, but this is the most balanced league in the country.
A special cashback offer only from DirecTV Cinema. Order The Ugly Truth on DirecTV Cinema and get $4.99 cash back after mail-in redemption.
No, that is a bra.
Oh, you assume all men are as perverse as you are.
Oh, I don't assume. I know. You have to be two people. The librarian and the stripper.
Oh, whoa.
Would you stop doing that?
Is it turning you on?
Maybe.
Sucker.
I wouldn't do it.
Hurry. This cashback offer ends November 16th. Go to channels 125 to 199 to order The Ugly Truth today.
Boxing's pound-for-pound king is back in the biggest fight of the year. Manny Pac-Man Pacquiao, the man considered the best fighter in the world today. His opponent, the pride of Puerto Rico, and three-time champion Miguel Cotto. Order now, and with the purchase of a 12-pack of Tecate or Tecate Light, receive up to $25 back by mail. Offer ends November 14th, 2009. Must be 21 years of age or older. Other terms apply. Live Saturday, November 14th on DirecTV Pay-Per-View.
This halftime report is presented by IBM. Let's build a smarter planet. Visit IBM.com/smarterplanet.
But TCU has a richer football heritage than you might expect. Certainly in recent years, the Frogs have been very good, ascended to number 4 in the BCS right now. Davey O'Brien, National Quarterback Award is named after now, won the Heisman back in 1938, one of the first early stars for the Horned Frogs, who were national champions in both 1935 and 1938. Now, since the demise of the Southwest Conference, TCU bounced around a little bit before finding a home in the Mountain West. And LaDainian Tomlinson has a record with 406 rushing yards against UTEP in 1999. That is a record, and Tomlinson, the modern patron saint of Horned Frog football. And now TCU has as significant a game as they've had in recent years coming up Saturday night against Utah. Frogs are undefeated. Utah was undefeated last year, and Frogs seem to have them all but beaten, found a way to win that game. The Utes did. Now TCU would like to return the favor behind a powerful rushing game.
I think they're a more complete team right now. Their quarterback, Andy Dalton's playing terrific on the offensive side of the ball, completing most of his passes, over 77% of his passes on the year, but it's the running game for TCU that's really been impressive this season. Andy Dalton can run the ball at the quarterback position, but I think it's key that Joseph Turner, he's got 9 rushing touchdowns, over 5 yards a carry, and Ed Wesley is averaging over 6 yards a carry for this offense. And if you look at this offense, 242 yards a game. They've been extremely impressive at the line of scrimmage, getting the job done and coming up with huge plays in their rushing attack and in their passing attack. We all know their defense is outstanding, led by Jerry Hughes, the defensive end. But what has really impressed me about this TCU football team is the way that they've won, particularly the last 4 weeks. Their average margin of victory is 38.3 points in their last 4 games. And this is the TCU football team that's gotten confidence now. They're winning impressively.
I see signs all the time, speed kills, and it really does on a football field. I don't know of anybody that has more speed than what TCU does. I'm not talking about defense. Everybody knows how fast they are on defense. I'm talking about the skill position. Mayday just talked about Joseph Turner and Wesley. Let me tell you about a wide receiver named Jimmy Young. He's a big-time player, and they have a punt returner named Jeremy Curley. These people make things happen. When they run away from people, and it's hard to get an angle on them. That's why they're so explosive.
And the other thing is what Gary Patterson's been able to do over the years, always coming up with big plays, big games, winning a lot of games. But I think this year is the most complete team that he's been able to assemble at TCU on both sides of the ball.
Go ahead. I'd say that if they were in the Big 12, they would be very, very competitive.
Oh, they would love for the cards to fall just right, be able to go against Texas, perhaps for a national championship. A lot of things would have to fall in their favor to do that. Gary Patterson has won 11 games 4 times in his tenure, including last year, and another time he won 10 games. Horned Frogs are perfect and try to remain that way against Utah on Saturday night. Something else to watch for comes a night early. Friday night, 8 o'clock Eastern Time, West Virginia taking on Cincinnati. The Bearcats also undefeated. Doesn't matter who they put in at quarterback. They just keep rolling. Big East Showdown, and we visit with Mayday in the IBM Solution Center.
In this week's IBM Insight Center, we've got a terrific Big East matchup. The West Virginia Mountaineers versus the Cincinnati Bearcats. The Cincinnati offense has been on fire. In their last game against UConn, they set a school record of 711 total yards. Now the question is, can West Virginia's defense control or slow down this explosive Cincinnati offense? The trend is the Cincinnati wide receivers, the big plays that are thrown to them over 10 yards or more by their quarterback. You've got three terrific wide receivers that make things happen when they get their hands on the football. Marty Gilliard, Armand Binns, and DJ Woods. When they get their hands on the ball, something big happens down the field to play. If you're the West Virginia defense, what's the solution? Well, the solution is you get after the quarterback, Zach Collaros. When he's in the pocket and not pressured, he's completed 29 of 32 attempts of passes that have gone at least 10 yards. But if you pressure him and put the blitz on him, he's only completed 4 of 11 attempts. Now, for the West Virginia defense, they've had 24 sacks on the season. I think this is an easy one. Get after quarterback Zach Collaros, blitz him, harass him, and do not let him get in a comfort zone in the pocket.
Tony Pike is getting healthier as we hop aboard the DirecTV National Drive to the National Championship bus, where Brian Kelly, the head coach of Cincinnati, trying to take the Bearcats to 10-0 for the first time in school history. Joining us now, head coach of the Bearcats, Brian Kelly. Brian, your offense is always dynamic and explosive. I think it's one of the stories of the season this year when you had to change quarterbacks due to the injury to Tony Pike. What did you expect from Zach Collaros when you put him into the game?
Well, you know, again, I think anytime you lose your starting quarterback, there's some uncertainty. But what we knew with Zach is that he could run our offense and we wouldn't have to change a lot. We just didn't know the poise and the confidence that he would play with. And boy, he's played with great poise and confidence.
Tony Pike, prior to his injury, was a Heisman candidate. So now he's getting closer to ready to play. How would you describe the process you went through in deciding who would start this game against West Virginia?
Well, it wasn't strictly just about who's throwing the ball better. I think that certainly is a criteria. But also, you know, you have to look at Tony relative to not only this year but his future. And we didn't want to put him in a risky situation.
Obviously, your system is very conducive to quarterbacks making plays. Why do you think that quarterbacks are so successful, whether they've played or not previously in your system?
We have a saying in our program, next man in. And really what it means is that we trust that when you come in, that you are to play at a level that's equal to or better than the guy that was in there before you. And a lot of that is, you know, during injuries, those guys get the opportunity. So we set a high expectation. I really think the players themselves deserve a lot of the credit because they've done a great job preparing for that opportunity.
If your team, Brian, is able to run the table, finish undefeated, how do you think it should be evaluated against, say, a team from the SEC or a team from the Big 12 in terms of playing for the national championship?
I think you just look at our body of work. We would have played in beating probably 5 or 6 top 25 teams. We would have gone on the road and played well on the road. I think it'll be an easy decision once you look at the body of work. We talked to our football team about it, Reese, you know, a couple of weeks ago. Listen, you can't control what happens in front of you. What you can control is a Big East championship. Let's focus on that.
Bearcats controlling their business just fine, and South Florida's defense has controlled Rutgers well enough despite the numerous bull miscues, but still the Scarlet Knights up by 13.
Insight Center is brought to you by IBM. Let's build a smarter planet. Visit IBM.com.
Every day, we generate 8 times the information found in all U.S. libraries.
Where does it come from?
Store transactions, market movements,
Emails, photos, videos, blogs.
What if technology could capture all this information
and turn it into intelligence?
We could identify patterns faster. We could predict with greater confidence. Convert data into action.
Smarter information means smarter decisions.
Smarter decisions build a smarter planet. That's what I'm working on.
I'm an IBMer.
What's IBM? Nafanya kazi IBM.
Let's build
the smarter planet.
Little things can turn against you when you travel. But if they do, you know who to turn to. Your American Express Charge Card not only gives you assistance around the world. With the Membership Rewards Program, you can use points to travel without blackout dates on any airline, anytime. Can your card say that?
when you touch down at Hampton, you wake up a winner.
That's right. Thanks for their friendly service.
They even remembered my name.
What is your name?
That you will never know.
Smart move, Tracy. Seriously, what's your name?
They've done it again. DirecTV will soon have the capacity for over 200 HD channels.
Oh, for a second there, I thought you said 200.
I did.
Son of a... What is it with those guys?
For a future of over 200 HD channels, call 1-800-DIRECTV.
Welcome back to the IBM Halftime Report.
Dr. Lou, Dr. Lou, that's Dr. Lou, Dr. Lou, Dr. Lou. The doctor will see you now.
All right, Dr. Lou, we got to talk about Coach. If Coach Harbaugh asked you to give the Stanford Cardinal a pep talk before this week's game, what would you say to get him going?
I would say, Coach Harbaugh, staff, and members of the Stanford football team, your institution has produced an awful lot of wonderful, successful people, but none more so than Tiger Woods and Nota Begay. They've overcome all kinds of problems and obstacles in order to be successful. I can't think of anybody more appropriate to prepare you to beat USC tomorrow than to listen to Tiger Woods and Nota Begay. Gentlemen, the floor is yours. Next question.
Dr. Lou, Charlie Weiss had you address the Irish this week. Your pep talk, would it be a tongue lashing for them, or would it be calm? And what would you have to say to them?
I'd be very calm but very forceful. I could say a lot of things, but in a short period of time. The main thing I'd want to get across to them is, gentlemen, we can solve any problem in this world if enough people care. If enough of you genuinely care what happens in Notre Dame football, our future will be very secure. And remember this, we must remain strong within. The only friends you have when things don't go well are those you eat with, sleep with, bleed with, pray with, and cry with, and that involves your family and your teammates and nobody else. Next question.
Hi, Dr. Lou. This is the only way I could get an appointment with you. You know, I might have to introduce our friend and colleague Mark May as a banquet speaker, and it made me wonder, if you were introducing Mark as a banquet speaker, what would you say?
Here's how I would introduce Mark May. Only in America could it happen. A person born in poverty but with hard work and dedication and perseverance became one of the icons in his profession. An individual who symbolizes what a father and a husband should be. An individual in the Hall of Fame. An individual that's loved and respected around this entire country. I could go on and on about me and my accomplishments. However, I'm here to introduce Mark May. Without any further ado, ladies and gentlemen, here's Mark May. Now for our closing thought. Always have the desire to dream, the courage to risk, the faith to believe, and the will to succeed. See you next week.
Doctor! Dr. Lou, Dr. Lou, that's Dr. Lou, Dr. Lou, Dr. Lou. The doctor is out.
Pretty good introduction, wouldn't you say, Mark?
That's how I introduce him. It's all about me.
Well, you know, I actually have had that pleasure once, and what I opted for was this now completes the community service portion of my sentence.
It must be the month of May Day. Pick on May Day.
You'll have your opportunity to atone at the throttle at the bottom on Saturday night. Pitt and Notre Dame square off. I'm going to keep dodging both of you, though. Rutgers up 13-0.
What if the barriers we always thought were there suddenly weren't? Introducing a TV designed to set your viewing experience free.
Is she awake?
Just fell asleep. Why are you up? It's 2 a.m.
It's not just 2 a.m. It's 2 a.m. Christmas morning. It's our first Christmas as a family. I couldn't wait.
Levion Jewelry, featuring Levion chocolate diamonds. Levion, one more reason Kay is the #1 jewelry store in America.
You think she'll remember this Christmas?
I know I will.
Every kiss begins with K.
Inventors, InventHelp can help you try to patent your idea and submit it to companies. Call 1-800-236-7211 for free information. That's 1-800-236-7211.
This was no impulse. My yearning for your comfort began hours ago. But for the cashier's sake, let's be coy. Let's pretend this was all spontaneous. Oh, pleasure to meet you, Caramel.
Life's better. The Milky Way.
What if your entire social life came to you? Friends, family, work email, personal email, messages, updates, and feeds. Everything.
Out of my way, freak!
Constantly updated and streamed together in one place. So you can keep track of whatever you want and focus on what matters most.
Hello.
Introducing MotoBlur, only on the Motorola Click, the first phone with social skills.
This was no impulse. My yearning for your comfort began hours ago. But for the cashier's sake, let's be coy. Let's pretend this was all spontaneous. Oh, pleasure to meet you, Caramel.
Life's better. The Milky Way.
Want to see if you can pick the winners just like Dr. Lou and Mayday? All you have to do is log on to ESPN.com, go to the college pick'em, and make your selections. That computer program will actually keep an accurate tally of your wins and losses, unlike Mark and Lou, who can't quite come to an agreement on what their records are this season.
I'm winning.
Mark says he's winning. Lou says he's closer than some say. 49ers and Bears are playing in the NFL. 49ers with a 7-0 lead, about to go to halftime here.
This halftime report is presented by IBM. Let's build a smarter planet. Visit IBM.com/smarterplanet.
What's a good gift for a family?
How about 3 computers?
Complete with Windows 7.
And a wireless router. Set up by Geek Squad.
Wow. 3?
When everyone can get online. All at
one same time. You won't have to fight.
You won't have to bite. And you won't act like a bunch of animals.
Get a desktop, laptop, and netbook with Windows 7. Network together by Geek Squad. The best gifts come from Best Buy.
Kwikset presents Smart Key. Rekeying your lock versus replacing a light bulb. Rekey your lock in seconds with Smart Key. Only from Kwikset.
Meet Bob. Bob's helping us see where it's easier to find money. In there, or when you compare auto insurance prices at Esurance. Fill out one easy online form for real-time prices from Esurance and other leading companies. Then, Esurance helps you buy from the place that saves you the most. How much you got? $53. Good work. But Esurance is a better one-stop shop to find cash. Drivers who compare rates at Esurance save $451 a year on average. Find your cash in minutes at Esurance.
Hey guys, you should have seen my dad. He screamed at the referee the whole game.
My dad used a lot of swear words. We watched the game on TV and my dad called the coach a jerk.
Well, my mom says the refs are dumb.
Dummy. My mom just gets embarrassed.
My dad says the quarterback stinks. Come on, butthead, how about completing a pass?
Loser!
When I grow up, I'm gonna be just like my dad.
Play. Give me what you got till you hit that spot.
And we're back. ESPN's College Football Primetime presented by Applebee's. After first half, Rutgers leading 13-0. It was not a thing of beauty, especially for those guys. The Bulls formed mistakes in the form of turnovers and a muffed punt. Had a punt blocked. Rutgers scored a touchdown in the opening possession. Mohamed Sanu, the freshman's been outstanding, already 105 receiving yards. After that, just a couple of field goals, and it could be a much bigger lead for Rutgers if they take an advantage.
We'll talk about South Florida and what they need to do to change up a little bit here in a minute, but I would say Rutgers, man, get after them. You're young. Put the pedal down, put points on the board.
Defense has done a great job. They forced 3 turnovers, but the offense has not been able to capitalize on those turnovers. And because of it, this is still a 2-possession game. 1 score from USF, and they are right back in this thing.
Yeah, that's the problem for the Knights all season long. Red zone production, touchdowns instead of field goals. Tonight, unable to do that, so it's just 13-0, and the Bulls will get the ball to start this third quarter. USF will work with the wind. You see that into the wind, a very short kickoff taken by Kayvon Webster. He called a fair catch and allowing the return. Low it dead at the 26-yard line. So
the receiver was signaling. Signaling indicates that it's a fair catch. The ball is dead where it was received. First down.
Home Depot coaching adjustment has left it to begs to differ with the ruling on the field.
Oh, what a great face.
Pounding the chest.
Making sure that you can clearly see what he's thinking. He just gave the speech about playing smart football at halftime. All right, let's go into our Home Depot coaching adjustment here. How to signal for a fair catch. You know what? I think we both agree here that you have to recognize B.J. Daniels. You're not going to be able to run against this Rutgers defense. They are spying you. They have speed at the linebacker level. They can run you down, so you got to do something with it through the air.
And I think they really got to set up inside the pocket and get the football out quickly to playmakers, particularly Hester and A.J. Love.
Hand it off, nothing doing. Smothering the very first play of the second half is Antonio Lowry, the outside linebacker. Problem is they just didn't have the football. I mean, 23 plays in a half, that's nothing because of all the turnovers.
And B.J. Daniels was personally responsible for 3 turnovers. I'm really curious to see how he responds. It has never been that bad for him so far this year. Got bad against Pitt, but not like this. How does the young freshman quarterback respond on the road in the second half?
Yeah, and coming off, Jesse, his best game of the season against West Virginia in the home win. Daniels, another quick design run. You see the speed. He's popped at the 30. Munoz got him, and he'll set up 3rd and 7. Aaron?
Chris, kind of the rumor, the buzz here on USF's sideline, the most intense Jim Leavitt has been during a halftime speech in quite some time. This is coming from a guy that headbutts his players, has nosebleeds, head bleeds. I'm just hearing, obviously he wasn't happy coming off, but it was very loud and very intense and very scary in there. So yes, let's see how they respond. Loud and scary.
I guess the halftime speech at Pittsburgh was pretty fiery as well when they're getting thumped by the Panthers. Daniels chased, ball knocked loose. It's ruled incomplete. Heavy pressure as George Johnson came off the edge, and Joe LaFedge, the safety, joined him on the blitz.
And there were a lot of red jerseys that were putting pressure on Daniels. They're really going to come from the outside. They're going to drop. They're trying to move the pocket, Jesse. They just don't move it enough. Well, why did he stop?
Well, you see speedy George Johnson coming off the edge. The right tackle never got a hand on him. That was unimpeded to the quarterback. The arm was moving forward, so that was an incomplete pass, but a very, very good-looking first series for this Rutgers defense.
Yeah, and the 3 and out for the Bulls, and here comes Delbert Alvarado again. Remember the punt block last time. Rolls to his right, gets it away, and this is a good kick, which drives Sanu back to the 20. 6 yards on the return. Here's the second half kickoff. They ruled this the fair catch. And short kick. No wonder Leavitt was hot.
I'm not so sure it wasn't another player maybe signaling it. You see, he grabs number 34's face mask right here, and maybe wondering if he had called for it. Because it didn't look like on that return, the returner made any gesture with his hands.
So here's Rutgers back to work. It was a quick start for Savage. Cooled off a bit in the second quarter. First down throw. Savage hit and dropped. He's sacked by Pierre Paul. Second sack of the night for the Haitian.
Well, you know what? You see him coming from around the side here. And Jesse, this is just power, speed, and the guard and tackle miscommunicating on how they were going to block it.
Pierre Paul said his favorite pass rush move is just use his speed and then rip late to create the leverage into the quarterback. You saw it right there. Not a lot of football played under his belt, but he's got that natural athletic ability.
It's a Rutgers offense that coming into the game had given up 22 sacks. That's a bunch. And again, Savage pressured, flips it off short. Martinek is hit at the 20-yard line. Not been a great offensive line this year. Again, those sacks allowed, the inability to really establish a running game. They had bigger expectations for this group coming into the season.
They came into the year with 5 starters coming back on the offensive line. Everyone thought that was the strength of the unit. It hasn't been that way, though, particularly when they've had a true freshman playing a quarterback.
Well, they got to build it around Anthony Davis, their left tackle. He's a junior. They need him to stick around to give them the solidity for next year, kind of building towards having a good offensive line.
They had a lot of experienced guys. I mean, they had big expectations for this group. I mean,
Davis has been up and down also.
Yeah.
He hasn't played great football yet.
3rd and 16. It's a shovel pass. Martinek. He's dropped almost immediately by Sabbath Joseph, who's had an active night.
You kind of get the feeling, in order for USF to get back in this game, the defense, they played great the first half, bend don't break. They almost have to raise it one notch.
Like make a play, like score a touchdown, do something to pick up the offense.
Player down for the Bulls as Levitt applauds the effort of his defense, and that's Pierre-Paul limping heavily as he gets to the sidelines. Talked about how he has emerged as the number 13 player on Mel Kiper's board as a junior, and that's a surprise because he's been somewhat unproductive this year. Only 2 sacks coming into this game for a guy with all that talent. He's raw for sure, a lot to learn still, but that's a draft rating, I guess, on potential.
They're looking for consistency.
Yeah.
You know, they're wanting to see week in and week out, what do you do? How do you play the game? He's got the body.
He's got the ability. You guys remember Michael Johnson last year, defensive end at Georgia Tech? Midway through the year, a lot of people had him as the number 1 prospect.
Grana punts it away. Fair horns. Moves back to take it inside his 30. Gets away from McCourty just briefly, but you could see the speed of the corner and special team stud again. 48-yard punt, just 5 on the return. Bulls will take over.
If you make international calls, only Vonage gives you unlimited calls around the world and in the U.S. for just $24.99. Introducing Vonage World. Call 877-4VONAGE today. Then call India, all of India, or Brazil, all of Brazil. In fact, call all corners of over 60 countries free. And now, with the new Vonage mobile app, you can also save over 50% on calls to dozens of countries on your iPhone or BlackBerry smartphone. Go to Vonage.com for a free trial.
I really don't know where to start.
I have kids.
Twins.
Welcome to fatherhood. You want to connect with these kids? I'm going to help you.
The kids have never seen Friday the 13th, part 1 or 2.
Oh my God!
Where a man can be a man.
You made fire!
Get the car ready. And only the strong survive.
My kids are in there. Sorry, the zoo closes at 3. We're in the gorilla enclosure.
Old Dogs. Rated PG.
I'm all out of love, so lost without you.
The New York Yankees are World Series champions. Celebrate with Sports Illustrated's exclusive championship package featuring the official World Series DVD from MLB Productions' World Series Champions. Plus, get this special hardcover commemorative book capturing the Yankees' fantastic season and postseason run with SI's unparalleled writing and photography. Go online to sioffer.com or call now to get both with a paid subscription. 56 issues for only $1.59 an issue. Save 68% off the cover price. Plus, use your credit card, and you'll also get this officially licensed championship baseball. Featuring the World Series trophy and team logo, it was designed exclusively for SI to honor the world champions. Relive all the thrills of the star-studded Yankees championship season. Go to sioffer.com or call now to get the official DVD, the commemorative book, and the championship baseball. This limited championship package is only available from Sports Illustrated. Call or go online now.
Struggling with credit card debt? Are you worried about making your monthly payments? The Financial Future Network will refer you to a debt settlement consultant. Feel the freedom of debt-free living. The phone call is free and there's no obligation.
Big East Showcase game tomorrow night over on ESPN2. Noel Devine, can he go for the Mountaineers against the Bearcats at Nippert? Zach Collaros will again start at quarterback to super sub we saw emerge against these Bulls down in Tampa in the second half after Pike had been knocked out of the game. That injured forearm. He's been as good as you can think of in recent history. A guy coming on as a reserve and filling in for somebody.
School record 711 yards of offense against UConn last week. Wow.
They have 300 plus passing in the first half, huh? This is Mike Ford, but Daniels keeps it. Now Check did hand it off to Ford for a short game before D'Imperio stopped him. Aaron?
Chris, we'll have to keep an eye on quarterback B.J. Daniels. On the last play of the last series, guys, he was hit pretty hard, and watching him over on the sidelines, he was trying to stretch out his ankle. He was limping a little bit. USF's backup started to stretch, throw the ball a little bit. But, you know, he seems to be fine now, but that was something that the trainers came over and asked him if he was all right about, so those ankles.
Trainers have been busy. You saw Pierre Paul being attended to. Again, without Carlton Mitchell, his big playmaker, their leading receiver tonight, Daniels has struggled. Fires far sideline over the head of Hester. Not even close.
And, you know, you have the tendency as a young man quarterbacking to get impatient. This is an offense that came into the game. They had 8 plays of 50-plus yards. They had 3 one-play scoring drives. So they're used to scoring and big plays, explosion. They just can't get it going.
Well, Mitchell was the guy that gave you most of those big plays.
I mean, all the times this year, BJ scrambled around, found Carlton Mitchell. That was the guy on the ends of the receiving play.
BJ's had 9+ by himself.
Yeah. And they need 10 to stay on the field here. And the Knights bring big pressure up the middle. Daniels is swarmed and sacked. All kinds of red jerseys. Munoz, the linebacker. An 8-yard loss, and here comes a punt.
And you know what eventually gets them is the stunt when they come to the inside. The loop around. See the El Paso there that comes to the middle of the field? Can't make the adjustment to it.
These defenses can dial up some seriously exotic pressures. USF had the bye week. They spent 10 minutes a day working on Rutgers pressures, but still Rutgers able to confuse them and get after the quarterback.
Give credit to the defensive end, Alex Silvestre, who grabbed Daniels around the waist, and then Munoz got there.
False start. Offense, number 57. 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
Back up 5 more yards.
You know, sometimes a coach, when he gives it to you at halftime, it can put you in a tank a little bit, and you start thinking about not making mistakes.
Surprised
smile from Levitt.
Well, I'm surprised he had any voice left to give an impassioned speech. You listen to the guy talk to Aaron going into the halftime. He had no voice left.
That's why the voice sounds like that. He's made a few of those speeches. Alvarado gets this one off. Sanu at the 31. And a little bit of room, but coverage closing in quickly. Again, reminder that the Irish visiting the Pitt Panthers, ABC primetime. That's where Brent, Kirk, and Lisa Salters will be. You guys video gamers?
I used to be when I was in college football.
They didn't look like this, though, did they?
No, the graphics were way worse for sure. You talk about Notre Dame, though, defensively this year. 88th in the country pass defense. Bill Stahl's been magnificent for Pitt. 5th in the nation pass efficiency.
We'll see if Golden Tate can get in the end zone and dance with the leprechaun.
Bring around the Rosie with the leprechaun.
I think Charlie Weiss may want to go start dancing with that leprechaun.
It's a deep handoff to Martinek on 1st down, and he pulls ahead for about 9. Quarterback comparison in that game. Bill Stahl having a superb season. Perhaps not enough people are noticing what he's doing there.
You know what? Watching Pittsburgh play, when they're out there, they've got confidence now. I think the momentum is there. I'm looking to see what's going to happen in the headgear of the Irish now after they've lost to Navy.
There's Martinek picking his way across midfield. 1st down, breaks a tackle. Jersey Joe down inside the 35. It's the best running play of the night for Rutgers.
Joe Martinek does his best running later in games. He did it against Maryland early in the year, did it against Army. He just gets stronger as the game goes on.
Right into the corner blitz there, so there's no real support the next level. And you're starting to see now white jerseys not really around the ball. They didn't pursue and come down the hill like they did in that first half. Of course, how can you blame them, too? They've been out there trying to lift this team up and carry them the whole game.
You're right. Martinek does get better, Jesse, as the game goes on. In the 4th quarter, he's averaging more than 8 yards a carry. One of the better guys in the country. The defense begins to get tired. Short gain there. Really is a ground game that has to be kind of set up by the passing game.
Well, and there's been great balance so far in this game for Rutgers. You look at it, 25 running plays, 26 passing plays. It's been a little inconsistent throwing it, so, go give it to your workhorse running back. Let him pound and wear this defense down.
And he's 215, but he seems bigger than that, doesn't he? Seems
I like more solid shift to him.
This is Martinek again. He got popped after about a 5-yard game as Keon Wilson, the middle linebacker, filled. Top tackler on this USF team. Lost his helmet in the process.
Oh, man, nice block by D.C. Jefferson. Watch the right side over here. Watch him come down, the former quarterback. Kaboom!
Wow.
Hey, that's impressive.
And that's the part of the game they said he really needed to work on. Playing quarterback, learning to be physical enough to play tight end.
There's David Bedford, the defensive end, who goes 250. He just threw him to the ground.
Wow.
Yeah, you wonder when you move a talented athlete from quarterback to tight end, can he be a physical blocker? Really have that taste for that part of the game?
I think it's in the head. If you want to be a good blocker, you usually have a chance to be a good blocker.
Take a break. Scarlet Knights on the march again, but facing a 3rd and 4.
Scientific tests prove when you drink Dr. Pepper slow, 23 flavors taste even better. For me, slow always produces a hit. Step aside for a minute. Check this out. Slower is better. Trust me. Doubt me.
What is your holiday bonus going to be this year? How about 25% more cash for your broken, mismatched, or unwanted gold jewelry? That's our biggest bonus ever. Cash for Gold, the world's largest buyer of consumer gold, knows that this year, bosses may not be as merry as you'd like. So why not make the season a little jollier by giving yourself a bonus? All you have to do is call for your free prepaid envelope right now. Fill it with any gold items you want to sell. Send it to our secure processing center, and we'll get your 25% holiday bonus out to you right away. And you can even take 12 days to decide if your bonus is big enough. Who else does that? Now you'll have the extra cash you need for your holiday shopping and still have some for the trimmings at home. So even if you work for a Scrooge, guarantee yourself a holiday bonus, the biggest bonus we've ever offered. 25% more cash for your gold jewelry during Cash for Gold's Holiday Bonus Bonanza. But hurry, this offer won't last long.
Call 1-800-632-3992 or go to cash4gold.com right now for 25% more holiday cash.
ESPN's College Football Primetime, brought to you by Dr. Pepper. Drink it slow. Doctor's orders. And Left 4 Dead 2. In stores November 17th, rated M for mature.
There's Evan Landy. He's the backup to B.J. Daniels, a redshirt freshman. Coral Springs, Florida, warming up. Aaron told you that Daniels has been during a frustrating night. We'll see what that amounts to. Meanwhile, Rutgers has the ball, needing 4 yards. On 3rd down. Savage. Well protected, firing for Brown. Touchdown. And Tim Brown with his 17th career touchdown reception has a share of the Rutgers school record. Kenny Britt, who was the stud here, now in the NFL, has a piece of it as well. And Brown's been tracking his good buddy down all season. Here's number 17.
Right off the slot, and he goes running right by the freshman defensive back Legist. No chance. Turning his hips.
It was cover 0. There were no safeties back in the middle of the field to go help out Legist. Nice job by Tom Savage recognizing where to go with the football and anticipating a beautiful pass.
6 of those touchdowns this season. Rutgers up 19-0, will now go for 2. And they've got Sanu in the Wildcat formation. Savage motions out wide. Brown comes across, and Sanu keeps it up the middle and barrels in easily. So midway third quarter, that is a crushing blow to the Bulls' chances here as Rutgers gets a touchdown pass from Savage to Brown, and the 2-point conversion, 21-0.
True freshman quarterback stepping up for Rutgers. Tom Savage showing why he's the leader of the best team on this field tonight.
What if the barriers we always thought were there suddenly weren't? Introducing a TV designed to set your viewing experience free.
I can't get over the pain of losing you. Oh, I've tried all the things that I can do.
Your Windows stuff goes where you go. New Windows Phone at Verizon.
Red.
When you want to get away, both, Enterprise will pick you up and get you going to romantic weekends. Pick Enterprise. We'll pick you up.
He is the longest reigning light heavyweight champion in UFC history. Now, Tito Ortiz returns to make another run at the title. But former champ Forrest Griffin aims to avenge his first loss in the UFC against the Huntington Beach bad boy. Also, 2 of the sport's most explosive welterweights finally meet as Josh Koscheck battles Anthony Rumble Johnson, and only one will be left standing. Left 4 Dead 2 presents UFC 106, Ortiz versus Griffin 2. Live Saturday, November 21st from the Mandalay Bay Event Center in Las Vegas, Nevada on DirecTV pay-per-view.
What if your entire social life came to you? Friends, family, work email, personal email, messages, updates, and feeds. Everything.
Out of my way, freak!
Constantly updated and streamed together in one place. So you can keep track of whatever you want and focus on what matters most.
Hello.
Introducing MotoBlur, only on the Motorola Click, the first phone with social skills.
Tonight's intelligent move brought to you by Mercedes-Benz. Another look at the touchdown from Savage to Brown.
Protection up front gave him time to throw the ball down the field, and Brown's just got way too much speed for a freshman not to turn his hips and get back.
And they tiled up the perfect play call against the defense that would work against, using Tim Brown's speed with no deep safety help. That's pitch and catch for a true freshman quarterback. Savage.
Brown's 5 previous touchdowns had averaged 48 yards. That one shorter, but he is a big play threat from anywhere on the field, as Connecticut found out. We'll show you that touchdown that dramatically won the game for Rutgers after UConn had taken the lead. Webster fumbles the ball, and the debacle on special teams continues for the Bulls. Who's got it at the 25? Fighting for it down in the scrum. USF this time retains it.
I mean, it's if you're a coach or a fan, you just think it's a joke how poorly they're playing tonight. Just not in sync.
Kayvon Webster, the corner, he's the one that muffed the short kickoff. So down 21 points. There's a serious urgency for the Bulls offense at the 25-yard line. Daniels in the game. Hands it off to Lindsey Lamar. First carry for the true freshman. Gets nothing.
You know, it's funny when you look at this USF offensive line, they're much bigger than the defensive line at Rutgers. In fact, every player up front in the O-line, on average, outweighs their counterpart across the ball by 50 pounds. You'd think they'd be able to road grade them, But Craig, they're not a physical running team. It's a finesse running game.
And they're sitting in their stance right now. They haven't come out all night. And the fact that they've only had 30 snaps all night, never let them get warmed up.
You fake it to Lamar. Daniels on the edge, wants to throw downfield, now circles back, dumps it off short, and hit immediately for a loss is the freshman Lamar by Devin McCourty, who just had another monster night.
We have followed Greg Schiano at football practice and watched him how he walks and gets his team lined up, staying in place, backside, never lost their assignment.
That's Lamar, the 165-pounder who was hit by McCourty. It was a very solid 190.
I'm watching this defense right now. This is the best I've seen this year, a defense corral B.J. Daniels. I mean, you watch him here. Zone read, he pulls it, tries to get the perimeter. There's Ryan D'Imperio, no perimeter. Now you got to pull back. There's a defensive end coming up the field. You got to lob the ball over. And then look at the physicality of McCourty, the cornerback, dropping the hat. You know, we were talking about this during a break. There's really no weakness in his game.
No.
Cover guy. He's a big physical run stuffer, blocks kicks, returns kicks for touchdowns. The guy does everything.
And as we said, tremendous stamina. Ever been on the field for 111 snaps?
No. Yes. In 2 games.
Wow.
It took me 2 games to get to that.
That just amazes me. Again, UConn had the ball a bunch against these guys, and 86 snaps is a ton. And then the fact that he was out there in 25 special teams plays.
And one of those he ran at 98 yards, so it wasn't just a little 6-second spurt.
But he runs kickoffs back. He chases the guy. He had tried to chase down a Husky player who ran a kickoff back for a touchdown in that game as well.
He's really impressive when you talk to him, too. He is going to murder his interviews at the combine. And he's very, very impressive to talk to.
On 3rd and 11. Crowd is loud. Daniels is on the run, fires downfield, and has a man open in Rutgers territory. The completion, that's Love who took a shot. Zaire Kitchen got in Love's kitchen there. Receiver down on the Rutgers sidelines.
And you know what, this is McCourty over here, push it to the outside and falls back into the play. But, you know, this is just a nice throw by Daniels. One of the nicest throws we've seen him make tonight. One of the few positives.
2 plays in a row now. We've seen USF players down off of hitting. You know, I guess you question whether they're ready to play. I mean, you know, these guys look a little lackadaisical out there, look confused.
I said that. You thought I was nuts in the first quarter when I said that to you.
What?
I just
never think you're nuts.
Well, you gave me that look. But it's like USF, they came into this game, and I just could feel it, man. They just didn't have that urgency about them. There was a different gear in the red jersey.
Yeah, and that's the knock, frankly, is that when they go away from Tampa and play on the road, they sometimes have those kind of performances. Pittsburgh is one of them. The shot on the hip that Love took, I think, is what the issue is. Boom, helmet right there.
And he's not a guy that they can afford to miss right now. He's the guy that's supposed to be replacing Carlton Mitchell. So now if you lose him, now who replaces him?
Kitchen, by the way, was lucky not to be hurt on that play, the way he threw his helmet in there. Daniels with a little pump fake. Gets around his man and shows his running skills for 12 yards.
B.J. Daniels averages 65 yards a game running the football. That's more than Terrell Pryor at Ohio State.
Yep.
And it's more than Jeremiah Mazzoli at Oregon. I mean, what he does, it kind of goes under the radar. Yeah. It's been pretty tremendous. Bottled tonight, though.
Absolutely bottled up tonight. I think Greg Schiano's defense came in understanding what they were facing, and they've really done a great job of discipline, staying in lanes, and making him try to beat him with his arm.
Blanchard on first down. He shows some energy and muscles for about 6.
We had him as one of our impact players in the first quarter. Thought he might get on track tonight. Needed to get on track.
He came off a big game, 86 yards against the Mountaineers.
He's a guy that's really struggled with injuries his whole career. Was a starter as a freshman back in 2006. Gets an ACL. Gets slowed in 2007 because of that. Elbow injury last year. Finally healthy this season.
Only 8 yards on 4 carries tonight. All kinds of shifting and adjusting. 5 win the play clock. They snap it in the shotgun. A lot of time for BJ. Now he'll take off and be dropped for a loss. George Johnson, active defensive end, stopped him behind the line.
Some of you guys think that, what I'm seeing here, when you saw the check at the line of scrimmage, watch the hands go up and look at the red jersey, just kind of playing soft, right? It's going to be a pass, don't rush, make him throw the football.
It's cat and mouse. They were showing a man-to-man coverage look. B.J. Daniels wanted a crossing route to beat the coverage. Rutgers checked out of it to a zone, and that left B.J. Daniels stranded.
Bulls just 2 of 8 on third down, need 9 here. Daniels quickly takes off. Dives. It'll be short of the first down, but it'll feel like they'll go for it here on 4th and 2. Joe LaFedge stopped the quarterback.
No question about it. And I'll give B.J. Daniels tons of credit on this drive. He made a big throw on third down to keep the chains moving. We've seen a couple of big runs now. You get the feeling he's trying to put this offense on his shoulders, trying to will them to their first points of the night.
Well, A.J. Love still on the sidelines after that hit that he took, so he's losing one of his key assets on this offense, not out there on 4th down.
2 tight end look, power formation. They need 3 yards. Daniels trying to throw. Can't get away. They finally blow the whistle after a monstrous loss. Antonio Lowry just kept pushing him back. Where will they spot this ball?
I was expecting a whistle way before that. I mean, he's in the grass.
Oh, they're gonna move the ball.
12 seconds ago.
They're going to move the ball way back.
Oh, yeah.
Way back to the 46 at Rutgers. I didn't hear a whistle. It's only a 17-yard loss.
Oh, it's a 25-yard backpedal. And the whistle never came. And I don't know.
Right there's where they say he was blown dead. He kept trying to escape.
Yeah.
Well, give Antonio Lowry, the linebacker, tons of credit. He did not bite on the play fake, beelined right for B.J. Daniels.
The crowd grumbling. They wanted a bigger loss. There's 6 over in total control now at the 46 and 5 sacks of Daniels tonight. What a performance from this Rutgers defense. They fake it to Martinek. Savage is chased immediately. He's knocked to the ground by Craig Marshall. It's incomplete.
Well, we know one thing after watching Rutgers and Greg Schiano over the years. He won't let up.
No.
Got foot's on the gas pedal trying to hit the floorboard.
It was last year. You said they were still throwing up 33 in Tampa and
throwing the football. And we saw it last year against Louisville late in that game, throwing the football way up. Yeah, Greg Schiano does not take his foot off the pedal.
Delay. Martinek. 6. Pierre-Paul stopped him.
You know what he does well? He's patient. Yeah. And he just kind of lets the blocks develop, and penetration is pretty much out of the USF defense now.
When you go to his website, joemartinek.com.
There's footage on there from when he was in Pop Warner.
Yeah, not done by somebody that kind of does it for him.
He's got a buddy, I think, that kind of like keeps it up and maintains it. You know, he's the all-time New Jersey high school leading rusher. Just there's a bunch of good stuff on there.
What do you have on your website, Jess?
I hope I don't have a website.
You better check that out. Yeah. Savage on third down, fires across the middle, complete for a first down inside the 40-yard line. That's another good throw. Keith Stroud picked up 12.
You know, and here's another young wide receiver on this football team. I mean, they just continue to put guys out there. Savage, man, stepping up.
And you see the advantage of a big 6'5" quarterback. That was a great angle they showed because you could see he's got the height to see the entire field, anticipate the windows, and then pull the trigger.
Is that an example of throwing a guy open?
Yeah.
He kind of threw the ball in open space and let Stroud come back and find it.
Which is rare for a true freshman.
Rare for a lot of quarterbacks.
There's Martinek kind of doing what he does late in games, pounding away. To talked about his effectiveness in the second half.
You talk about the effectiveness of Greg Schiano and his ability to recruit. You know, Schiano's got these young players out there, and they keep building. Ray Rice, it was a couple of years ago. Remember, was it 3 years ago? We did a Rutgers at Louisville into the season, and we were like, question is, post Ray Rice, will Rutgers still be around?
Yeah, well, I think they answered the question. They had obviously great skill in the program with Britt and Taekwon Underwood and Teal last year, and another good recruiting class on the way. Tom Luganville tells me they got some verbal commitments, and linemen are what they need.
And I think there's two reasons for that. One, I think high school players today are too young to remember how bad Rutgers used to be. And secondly, they're watching Ray Rice start for the Baltimore Ravens and tote the rock. They're seeing Kenny Britt get drafted in the first round by the Tennessee Titans make plays. Taekwon Underwood's in Jacksonville. Mike Teal's in Seattle. They're not just players in the NFL, but role players as well. 6 guys on active rosters right now. I mean,
off last year's team alone. That's a lot.
They're going to start getting these big-time recruiting classes, and you're seeing guys like Tom Savage, Mohamed Sanu. I mean, there's guys out in the field tonight that these guys are going to be big-time players.
And these kids at home have watched Rutgers over the last several years on Thursday night have great success. And it just adds up. And Schiano's he's a guy who's a good communicator, and he connects with a mom and a dad and a player.
He's expanding his recruiting too, isn't he? He's not just staying in state and going to Florida where he has ties. No, he's kind of reached out a little bit as well.
Yeah, Tom Luganville told me up and down the eastern seaboard, you know, they show up with that R on the red sweatshirt, and it no longer is a curiosity. Players now know what Rutgers is, what they're about. The exposure certainly has helped. Saw Marshall walked off, didn't appear to be serious. They can't really afford any more injuries in the defensive line. Got a bunch of guys playing nicked up coming into the game. Marshall, one of them. Martinek has a little crease, picks his way near first down yard before Joseph stopped him. Time ticking away, and Rutgers will head to the fourth quarter with a 21-0 lead. Martinek gaining 49 yards rushing in that quarter alone.
The chase continues at Phoenix, Sunday at 2:30 Eastern on ABC.
Here in New Jersey, chilly night. Time to get the winter gear out, and that perhaps kept some people away tonight. There are some empty seats, some no-shows. The ones who have made it here and watch the Scarlet Knights roll up a 21-0 lead as we begin the fourth quarter. This is Martinek. Pushed and dropped for a loss as we check in with Aaron.
Chris, just kind of playing off what you guys are talking about up there about USF maybe not looking like they were ready or too into this. A lot of yapping from the Bulls this week. Here's one from linebacker Sabbath Joseph just talking about how, you know, they're going to pay him back for what Rutgers did last year, continue to throw the ball when they were up by 19 in the fourth. Keon Wilson, another linebacker with USF, calling out Rutgers' offensive line, saying they're not all that, basically. And, you know, interesting enough, in my pregame interview with Coach Levitt, he just said, I want my team to focus.
Yeah, you're right, Aaron. They haven't backed anything up tonight as Santi goes on from 49 yards and just thumps it through. Ribbit is back. Sure, but that was an impressive kick. The sophomore made 3 field goals. They had the one bad snap. Yep, Mr. Joseph, Mr. Wilson did do some talking, but it appears barring a huge turnaround here, that Rutgers will beat USF for the 4th straight year.
They have not had an answer for Rutgers now in the last 15 quarters. They've been owned by Rutgers over that time frame. You can do all the talking you want, Craig, but when the ball gets kicked off, your actions speak louder than your words.
You're supposed to play like a ranked team. I mean, you've got USF at 24. I had them even a little higher than that, Chris.
Yeah, this is a trend, though. We've talked about this. The 5-0 starts each of the last 3 seasons. They're the only 1A team that can say that, but then the finish. They stumble down the stretch as they get into conference play often, and they would drop to 1-3 this season with the loss here after the 5-0 start. And they have a home game with Miami that'll be everything the fans are talking about. But frankly, you're right, Craig. I look at this team and I had them ranked, and I feel embarrassed about that. This does not look like one of the 25 best teams in the country. When they have a performance like this, they don't look like the top 75. Hammered at the 20 as the Rutgers coverage seems continue to be impressive. Bogan stopped right there by Eric LeGrand as we check back with Reese.
This Texas is a team that has lived up to its spot in the polls. Nobody's done it better than Jordan Shipley, our ESPN AT&T All-America Player of the Week, is the standout wide receiver for the Horns. Shipley, 11 catches, a school record 273 yards, and an 88-yard touchdown in the Horns' victory over UCF. Every week, text vote to 345-345 on your wireless phone. Access the nominees. Enter for a chance to win a trip to the title game.
Thanks, Reese. We'll see Jordan Shipley and the Longhorns at Texas A&M on Thanksgiving night. There's a handoff to Mike Ford.
Jordan Shipley needs to start getting some Heisman consideration. I'm serious. I mean, over 1,000 yards already receiving.
Yeah, I agree.
He's got 6 touchdown catches. He's taken 2 kicks back to the house.
But you know what? When everybody wants to go to the quarterback numbers, and it's Golden Tate at Notre Dame is a great football player.
Yeah.
But the receivers just never get love. The runners.
Let's go back to Shipley, though. I mean, he's playing better football than his hunting buddy and his roommate, Colt McCoy, who's having a good year as well. But there's an incompletion and another huge hit on a USF receiver. The lumber is just laid on Theo Wilson there by David Rowe, the sophomore corner.
Oh, this was, man, thank goodness his feet weren't caught in the carpet here. Man, Rutgers will come up and hit you. As Reese likes to say, hit you in the mustache.
Put a hat on you there, literally. 3rd down once again. It's been misery in 3rd down tonight for B.J. Daniels. He's 2 of 9 in conversions. Timeout called.
But going back to Jordan Shipley, I mean, you could easily argue that he's been as valuable, if not more valuable, to Texas's success this year. And you go back, the punt return touchdown against Texas Tech, that game was very close at the time. They were kind of hovering around, struggling. That broke the game open. He had one against Colorado as well when they were kind of struggling. That broke the game open.
It's not like
he's been big time.
And it's not like he just started doing it. He did it last year. Shipley was a big play guy for them last year. Okay, so how do you get out of that? If we're in that mode right now, then how do you get him on the platform where he gets the love for
Texas's machine is cranked up and focused on letting the country know that Colt McCoy is still having a good year. He's got, right now, half the number of touchdown passes that he had last year through 13 games, and he has 1 more interception. The rushing yards are down a bit. Passing yards per game aren't down that far, but how much of that is due to short passes and long runs by
As good as their defense is right now, Texas, I don't think Mac or Colt or Jordan or anybody else is worried about individual awards. They're timing it just right. They're getting it going. The Big 12 North is probably not going to deliver anybody to challenge them in that game. So I think the Longhorns are focused on a national championship.
Looking forward to that game in College Station, aren't you guys? Thanksgiving night.
Big time.
Daniels looking forward to getting back to Tampa. The long night continues. Flags are down as the quarterback is down. Kasim Green, him on the safety blitz. And That's a holding call that'll be declined.
Fourth down.
Sack number 6 for this Rutgers defense against a really elusive athletic quarterback.
And all the preparation, the last 2 weeks in practice, focusing on the pressure packages from Rutgers has just not paid off. A lot of athleticism on that side of the ball, but the schemes have confused USF.
I was totally wrong in this game. I told y'all I thought USF was going to put it on them. Way off.
Alvarado, an ugly kick. Sideways bounce down at the 43-yard line as the special teams troubles continue for USF, and Rutgers takes over in plus territory, already up 24.
3, 2, 1.
From the CTS, the most acclaimed vehicle in its class for the last 2 years. Now comes the CTS Sport Wagon. Its technology and performance rivals the European.
Who needs a highly paid professional entertainer? You got Lil Jovi up in here. This kid knows every word, every Bon Jovi song. New Jersey native, of course. He knows every Richie Sambora guitar lick.
He's a legend.
He is.
And he knows right where the camera is, but he did this last year.
This is last year. Year is a year younger. Similar act.
He's let the hair grow out.
Yeah.
I just wonder how he is in first grade algebra class tomorrow morning. Math.
I love how there's little kids and fans around him trying to bite off of his FaceTime on air. It's hilarious.
Man.
He went for about 4 songs at him on the Jumbotron. Here's Sanu, that quarterback in the Wildcat, the delayed run. And look at the strength of this guy. He dragged Keon Wilson, who's a tough linebacker, forward for 4 yards.
And at some point this season, we haven't seen it a lot yet, but you're going to start seeing Mohamed Sanu throw the football as well. He was a quarterback in high school. He can throw the football 70 yards.
Lil Jovi didn't care. Right now, you see me again?
Yeah. He's getting a massage.
We'll see you next year.
Thursday night.
Same songs.
Yeah. I'm going to see him on stage. Guitar hero.
Yeah.
But you're right, though. Sanu, they say, can throw it 70 yards?
Yeah. That's unbelievable.
You buy that? You always hear your stories.
Yeah, no, I do. Sure.
This is Martinek. Martinek free. Jersey Joe down the sidelines into the end zone. That'll help that fourth quarter average. This has been the pattern. Defense is a little tired, a little worn down, and old number 38 with a physical 37-yard run. And Rutgers is piling it on a Bulls team.
You know what? He's patient, but he also has a burst about him, and this is where the old chop in the wood comes into play. The burst to the outside. USF's defense, they've given it up. They've gone back to Tampa already. But, man, Martinek, you're talking about just bringing it.
Tight end DC Jefferson isolated on Sabbath Joseph for about a good 5 seconds, maintained his block, allowed Martinek to spring.
After a slow start, Martinek now over 100 yards. He's got 80 here in the second half. T knocks it through. And the Bulls are being embarrassed for the second straight year against Rutgers, this time on the banks of the Raritan. Drag behind the Jersey woodshed. 31-0. There's still time to play as Lil Jovi loving it. Rock.
My top pick.
ESPN's College Football Primetime is presented by Applebee's. It's a whole new neighborhood. And in part by Cadillac.
It's a party in Piscataway tonight. This is a team that got thumped here by Cincinnati in the opener. Lost to Pittsburgh as well. The list of victims for Rutgers very, very unimpressive coming into this game. Teams like Howard, Florida International. They did win at Maryland, Texas Southern, another 1AA team. Army can eke that out. The big win at UConn on a miracle, but this by far their most impressive performance of the season. Speaking of impressive, Aaron with a special guest.
I mean, the focus now on this game is my man, Nick Sasso. 12 years old, 7th grade. Okay, how did this little Jovi phenomena begin?
Well, it's just like last year's Louisville game, they put on You Give Love a Bad Name 3 minutes straight. They put the whole time camera on me. And the YouTube video that got put up, over 71,000 views in under a year. That I was happy about. And then every game this season, they just kept putting it back on again.
You know what, here, just hold this. You can do the interview now. We're watching the play.
It was really fun. I mean, doing it all the time, it's just fun.
Now there's Daniels not having much fun tonight. Not nearly as much fun as Nick is there.
Song to perform.
You Give Love a Bad Name.
Why?
It's easy. It's like the lyrics are good to act out, and it's really fun doing it too.
Okay, well, we obviously know you love Bon Jovi. What do you love about Rutgers football?
Just how the teammates are like, they're doing okay this season. I've seen better, but they're doing pretty okay.
You've seen better? What are you talking about? It's 31-0.
Yeah, but last year it was like Mike Teal at that shutout Louisville game. Well, not shutout, but he beat them bad.
Well, you've got Tom Savage, who's a freshman, and he's balling.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, but what would you like to see out of these guys?
More points.
More points, 31-0. Hey, school tomorrow, are you going to make it? I mean, it's a little late, buddy.
Yeah, I know.
You're fine.
I'm fine, yeah.
What's your favorite move? Bon Jovi, what's your favorite move? Do it for us.
Like the gun part. When they say like shot through the heart, you know, like loaded gun. That's it. Exactly.
Thanks so much. Yeah. More hits than you, Jesse, on YouTube. How about that?
That is 2009 for his generation. Success measured in YouTube hits, right?
Well, he's got 71,000, and he's pretty happy with that.
He's got it down, and he's stumped up though on the words. And you know,
he talked about shot through the heart. Heart is something you'd like to see from this Bulls team, and he's got it. You know, that's the problem. If you call it a problem, Rutgers could have a 10-win season, and yet a lot of fans, like Nick and others here, kind of go, you know, we wanted more, we expected more. That's where they are now. Yeah. Bigger expectations. Daniels trying to get away. Just kind of throws it into the ground.
That's a good point, Chris. I mean, Rutgers has won 13 of their last 15 games.
Yep.
It's pretty incredible.
They wanted to run at the end of last season after the bad start.
Yeah, we talked to the players and said, hey, I mean, Greg Schiano has created an environment now where the players expect to win.
Well, and then the athletic department and the boosters here, they've come in, and we've seen now, last year we heard they had construction. Now they have finished off the end zone. They've given this stadium a presence about it. And, you know, when it's full, it's a lot louder. That noise is here. So expectations are up for everybody.
Yeah, and they were this season as well. With Cincinnati and Pittsburgh coming in here as the snap is muffed, and Daniels is in deep trouble and just throws it away on 3rd and long. And the nightmare continues for the Bulls offense.
And you know what? When you're a young football team and you're on the road, it's a cold night. You've been there before, Jesse. It's just one of those where nothing goes your way. You have to learn from it.
The mouthpiece, he wasn't ready for the snap, clearly. Dropped a mouthpiece.
Just discombobulated all night long on offense for as explosive as they've been, and especially after what we saw 2 weeks ago against West Virginia, to have a goose egg up there in the scoreboard right now.
And this hurts the Big East. You know, the Big East Conference, they needed to have a good, strong, multiple-ranked football team.
There's the punt. So he just lets it bounce. Stops dead at the 26. Another reminder, Sunday NASCAR from Phoenix, 2:30 Eastern Time on ABC. Jimmy Johnson with that wipeout in Texas. Kind of opened the door for Mark Martin, giving chase in the chase. Gap narrowing down. Johnson, though, still in control if he can just muster a top 5 finish or two. It's 73 points back to Mark Martin. Jeff Gordon is 3rd.
Pretty incredible, man, because there's never been a 4-time consecutive winner. So just hold on.
That's a truly great achievement, really is. 4 straight in a sport as competitive with all the variables NASCAR. Now this is Martinek again, continuing to just wear down a dispirited defense. Martinek's helmet ripped off on the tackle after about 9 yards. So we check back with Reese for SportsCenter right now.
Chris, 3 Tennessee football freshmen have been arrested in relation to an armed robbery attempt. The 3, Jansen Jackson, a standout young safety, receiver Newkeith Richardson, and Mike Edwards. Have the latest on that coming up on SportsCenter after the game. There's an NFL game going on. 49ers have a 1-point lead over the Bears late in the third quarter. Cutler's thrown 3 picks. SportsCenter after the game.
Good news is, though, the Bears have decided to play some defense in that game for a change. Second and very short. Anticipating as Keith McCaskill jumped across the line of scrimmage.
Offside. Defense, number 91. 5-yard penalty would result in a first down.
You heard the true freshman, Tom Savage, there doing a nice job using the cadence to help out.
This is B.J. Daniels well away from the team. He's about 20 yards away from any teammate, the far 30-yard line.
He's talking to Marquell Blackwell there. Used to play quarterback here at USF. He's now an offensive assistant.
He's been there. He knows what it's like. Yeah. Daniel's not short of mentors here. Grothy's been helping out since the injury. Blackwell, of course, is a
Mike Canales played quarterback in college.
Where he's not supposed to be is on the 30-yard line.
You'd like to see him closer to teammates.
Get in there with your teammates. It's a team effort. You're losing as a team. Get down there.
BCS standings coming into this weekend's games, and of course the big story, can TCU make a serious move? What will it take for the Horned Frogs to get up there and play in the championship game? Will the voters, if Texas, Alabama, Florida, 2 of the 3 stumble, give an undefeated potential TCU team a chance?
I don't think so.
You don't think they would?
No, I don't. I think Cincinnati has 4 or 5 quality wins ahead of TCU. TCU has probably 3 good quality wins. Doesn't mean TCU's not a good team. But in that scenario, I'd say Cincinnati elevates itself.
I think a lot of people forget that TCU went up on the road and beat Virginia and went up to Clemson and won that game also.
I count Clemson.
That's good, because a lot of people don't see Clemson ranked and they go, well,
no, I got them in there.
Clemson's winning the Atlantic Division right now in the ACC. TCU, though, has done what they're supposed to do. In the last 4 games, they've won by an average of 38 points. Yeah. I mean, those style points everybody says is important. They're going out, they're beating everybody badly that they're supposed to beat.
And I know strange things can't happen, but really the game Saturday at home against Utah is their last chance to really lose a game. They're good.
Oh, yeah.
New Mexico in the card. They'll thump them. Wyoming.
Oh, yeah.
Martinek again just running through tackles. Lowers his helmet. He's not quitting. Continuing to build in a big night. Jerome Murphy hit him, but he took the blow more than gave it.
Chopping the wood. You know what? I think I'd let Martinek go out the next time and chop the block. Start a football game.
He had 130 yards in the 4th quarter against Maryland, 82 yards in the 4th quarter against Army, and this is why. Wears guys down. Look at his ability, Craig, to keep his balance and extend for the first down.
55 in the 4th quarter, when again, coming into this game, he was averaging 8.4 per carry in the 4th quarter. Talk about running backs around the country have been great closers. Mark Ingram, of course, at Alabama. He's good in all 4 quarters, but especially tough in the 4th quarter, wearing down defenses. Craig, I know you as an ex-running back, you appreciate a guy that could do that, get stronger as the game goes on.
You start, just instincts take over. You don't think any longer. You're just out there and you're running. And it takes about 15 carries, 20 carries before you really get into that mode. And you get a guy like Mark Ingram who's got that balance and that power and the strength. And he's tough on a defense in the 4th quarter.
9 of the last 10 snaps of Rutgers have been carries by Martinek. Got it again. Why isn't Mark Ingram gaining more traction? He didn't come up in our Heisman discussion yet. I think what he's done in the SEC, clearly the toughest conference in the country, another big game against LSU, and that seemed to be lost on a lot of people.
I think a lot of people are waiting for Heisman moments, and you look back at Mark Ingram right now and say, well, what are the Heisman moments? Career day against South Carolina. Okay, fine. He had a big day against Ole Miss also, played well at Virginia Tech, first game of the year. But you're right. he's done it week in, week out against some of the best defenses in the country, and he's well-rounded. I mean, he's going to smash Bobby Humphrey's record, on pace anyway, single-season rushing record at Alabama.
I think
there's never been a Heisman Trophy winner in Alabama.
You ask why. I think voters have gotten dialed into the quarterback so much this year. The Tebow factor and the lifetime achievement that he's had. You know, you got into your McCoy, and there were so many folks watching the quarterback position. Mark Ingram, if you really are looking for an outstanding football player, it's hard not to say that he's one of the best players in college football. And he's doing it on a great football team.
Has to be considered. They're so hungry at Alabama for that first ever Heisman Trophy winner, because so many other schools in the SEC with perhaps less tradition than Alabama have had Heisman winners. I think it's just a weird race. I don't think it's unfolded the way we thought. Obviously, Bradford getting hurt, Tebow and McCoy not meeting their own high standards from other years, and I think voters just not tuning into how good guys like Case Keenum and Kellen Moore at Boise State have been playing. Those guys have monster numbers. Case Keenum's having a great Andre Ware-like year with stats, and has just the one loss, and it wasn't his fault. They lost. I don't know why more people don't consider him a top contender. We'll come back. 31-zip.
3, 2, 1.
From the CTS, the most acclaimed vehicle in its class for the last 2 years. Now comes the CTS Sport Wagon. Its technology and performance rivals the Europeans. Its bold design steers clear of the luxury default button. And it could only have come from one place.
Meet Bob. Bob's helping us see where it's easier to find money. In there, or when you compare auto insurance prices at Esurance. Fill out one easy online form for real-time prices from Esurance and other leading companies. Then Esurance helps you buy from the place that saves you the most. How much you got?
$53.
Good work. But Esurance is a better one-stop shop to find cash. Drivers who compare rates at Esurance save $451 a year on average. Find your cash in minutes at Esurance.
It's The World at War, Turning Points, the most powerful World War II documentary ever made. Preserved forever in the diamond-sharp clarity of DVD. With eyewitness footage like nothing you've seen before. Footage once considered so shocking, it couldn't be seen at all. From North Africa and Stalingrad to D-Day, Iwo Jima, and the final battle for Japan. This is the mother of all World War II documentaries. Get The World at War Turning Points on 3 DVDs for just $59.99. But wait, call with your credit card and you'll pay only $39.99. And get a bonus DVD, Hitler's Germany, free. Plus, call in the next 10 minutes and get free shipping. The LA Times said these episodes will send chills racing up the spine. Call now to get The World at War Turning Points, plus a bonus DVD for just $39.99 with free shipping.
Call 1-800-306-8196 to order World at War for $39.99 and receive free shipping when you call in the next 10 minutes with your credit card.
ABC, prime time. Most of you will see Notre Dame coming off that loss to Navy against Pittsburgh. Wannstedt rolling. Dion Lewis, just a superb freshman back. He's a guy that Shiana was raving about as he shredded Rutgers.
He's only 190 yards away from breaking LaShawn McCoy's all-time freshman Big East record for rushing yards in a season.
E.J. Daniels taking his seat now is down 31-0. Evan Landy, redshirt freshman backup, comes in. He's a guy that's seen spotty action. Third team to start the season behind Grothy and Daniels.
You know what? And this is one of those games where if you're a quarterback, this is one of those, you get in the game, you get the most out of it that you can. Yeah. I know it's mop up, it's ugly, but as a football player, you go in the game, your guy hadn't done this job tonight, Daniels, get what you can out of it.
Daniels a fumble to go along with those 2 interceptions, so responsible for 3 turnovers. Rutgers did a great job containing his running. Not going to be any fun for Evan Landy. He's just going to hand the ball off from deep in his own end.
You get what you can. Do what you can do. Thanks, Coach, for letting me go into the game here.
He's attempted 5 passes this year, completed 3 of them. Does have a touchdown and an interception. So,
I think from my observation of this football game, my takeaway will be a Rutgers football team that came in ready to play, coached them. They had a great game plan, and Tom Savage did impress me. He made plays.
They have a bright future with him at quarterback, hopefully for 3 years.
Landy, trapped near the goal line. They spotted outside of the end zone. George Johnson joining the sack party tonight. That's number 7 for the Scarlet Knights defense. Almost a safety.
Yeah, very favorable call here. The ball just gets back across the line. Forward progress was beyond the goal line.
Just barely, you're right, though.
Barely there.
See all that movement up front, the twist, the stunts, the games. There's Johnson.
Booing. Now, was that fun for him to go in there? What did he get out of that? And the ball tries to take
You know, I've been there before. I've taken those mop-up snaps and got teed off on it. Not a lot of fun.
No, defense is still fired up. The offensive line, not so much. To make things worse, they only had 10 men on the field. They run a guy out late and take a delay.
Offense, number 25. Half the distance to the goal, 4th down.
They moved it from about 2 inches off the goal line to 1. Now, Levitt, screamed his lungs out and reported at halftime and tried to inspire his guys. Really didn't work. Where they go from here, who knows? You get Louisville at home, and then the Canes come in there, and that's an anticipated game in Tampa, but this team needs to show some heart, some effort, energy.
Well, they got a UConn game that's not a guaranteed win either after that.
There's another whistle.
False start.
Wow.
Now they go from 1 inch to a half inch from the goal line.
Half the distance to the goal, 4th down.
I mean, part of the deal is, in the Big East, let's be honest, they don't have the greatest bowl tie-in. So when your goal of winning the conference is shot, as it is for both these teams, you have to look for other sources of motivation. And it's not a real attractive bowl as the 4th, 5th place team in this conference, to say the least. Very short kick. Sanu just lets roll dead at the 39-yard line. Our Enterprise Rent-A-Car drive recap. Rutgers took the opening kickoff 80 yards. There was Murphy with the 15-yard penalty. He came out of the game. His replacement, the freshman, Kayvon Webster, burned by the true freshman Sanu for the touchdown.
You know what? And this was really early in the game where Savage had a chance to throw. Nice, safe ball. And the replacement pays the price for it. But Jerome Murphy, that's a real important thing to know about this football game. Early when it was like that, to have a play like just a bonehead play.
Murphy, a guy from Jersey, the only non-Floridian defensive starter for the Bulls, coming back to his home state. Disappointing night for him personally, for his whole team.
I think you look at the big picture for USF right now, and since joining the Big East, they're 16-16 in conference play. They never finished better than 4-3 in conference. You can't use the excuse anymore that, our program's only 13 years old. You're recruiting kids from Florida. Bowl games aren't good enough anymore, I think, at USF. I think fans expect to compete for Big East championships, but then you see this performance like tonight.
I agree.
And it's not even close.
But this is a team that last week against West Virginia in their last game, they held Noel Devine, a really talented runner, averaging 130 a game on the ground. They kept him to 47.
So why can't they be consistent?
I think you have to get lucky and have good leadership on the field. Don't you think? I mean, the coach can only do so much.
Well, there's a bit of an X factor. When you have a freshman at quarterback, you're going to take your bumps and your bruises, but it's not just this year. We talked about it. 3 straight years, start 5-0, and then all of a sudden it crumbles.
I think a couple factors. Number one, I think Rutgers defense and Schiano's scheme does a good job against this type of offense and a quarterback like Daniels. Number two, they're not showing a ton of energy and effort in this game. I think you saw it early on, and they were not able to answer it as they did against West Virginia, the opponent driving 80 yards for a touchdown. DeAntoine Williams, a freshman back, getting a few carries here late in the game. Keon Wilson popped him. Williams loses his helmet.
Well, and on the flip side, you look at Rutgers and the nucleus of talent they have at the young level, whether it's Tom Savage, a quarterback, Mohamed Sanu, Mark Harrison, a wide receiver. DeAntoine Williams is a true freshman. Greg Schiano really likes. I'm going to make a prediction. They'll win the Big East title while Tom Savage is here playing quarterback.
Okay.
That's strong. Well, I tell you what, the Big East needs them. I said this a little while ago. I think this is a tough game for the Big East Conference.
Well, why is it? But doesn't Rutgers look good in the process?
But if you've got a USF team that if they win this game and they keep going along and they play Miami in a few weeks and they're ranked up there in the top 15, that the conference needs that perception. They need the good quality depth of teams out there. Rutgers, I don't know. Now the question is, Rutgers goes to 7-2. So what are you going to do? You're going to put them in the top 25?
It's hard to find teams, but 22, 23, 24. You know how hard it is when you vote those polls every week.
Hear you.
Devin McCourty is our Wrangler 5-star player of the game. We don't usually give it to a corner, but he made 9 tackles, and he was all over the field, as he always is in special teams,
as
contributing.
Advertised. Yeah, it wasn't just defense. It was his presence on special teams, dropping hats on people, forcing turnovers here on the muff punt return. He's all over the place. He's the best player on defense for this Rutgers team. He's all over.
And above that, or as equal to his talent in his play, is his leadership. And that's the kind of player for Rutgers that keeps them where they are and makes them the kind of team that they are.
His brother Jason's a freshman for the Tennessee Titans. Has a big week this weekend.
Freshman? A rookie?
Or a rookie, sorry. Yeah, he's only one of 2 rookies in the defensive backfield. They got to take the DBs out, the veterans, to a Jay-Z concert. It's going to be a heavy bill.
Let me see. Talented freshman. Yeah, Devin was telling us his brother and his fellow rookie DB. That's a big price tag. A suite, dinner, drinks, everything.
The limo, and you know it's got to be like a stretch Hummer or something.
What's the average salary of the NFL?
Well, for a rookie?
Yeah, he's up there now. He's got some points.
6 figures for sure, but a lot of that's going to go away tomorrow night. Or whatever he has to do.
That's a long ways from my days when you had to bring donuts to the locker room.
That's all you had to do, bring a donut?
Donuts. A rookie had to bring. There better be a table full of donuts in a training room every morning.
You see that Rutgers are going to record their first shutout in conference play in 124 games. Go back to 93. So not much for Greg Schiano to quibble with. Yeah, they let a few opportunities get away in the first half, but it never cost them. Never let the Bulls in this game. And they'll beat USF for the 4th straight year. They'll get bowl eligible. They have a few more games to improve their bowl standing. But Levitt, they had some work to do. He'll try at home. 3 games to play for his team. Not what he was looking for and expecting of his team on the road tonight.
Big question. I still got it hanging out there for voters. 7-2 football team.
I'll think about it.
Yeah, I'm going to think about it too.
Tim Brown, the hero against UConn, that 81-yard touchdown to beat the team that featured his buddy growing up, Jasper Howard. He's a guy who's been grieving the loss of his friend, been emotional in recent weeks, and another big performance tonight from Brown and their entire Scarlet Knights team. Schiano with Aaron Andrews.
Thanks, Chris. Coach, the first thing you said to us yesterday, I'm so worried about B.J. Daniels. Why were you able to contain him the way your team was?
Our kids just played great. I mean, they really... And we had a little extra time to get ready, and we put a few new things in, and they really did it exactly like we asked them to.
6 sacks on him. Yeah. How are you able to get that much pressure?
Well, again, it's them. It's our players. You know, our players believe what we're doing, and they just went out and executed. I'm really proud of them.
Beat USF now 4 straight years. We talked about it, a lot of yapping from the Bulls this week about your team. What does that mean to you?
Well, you know, it's a Big East game, and it's real important for us is what we're trying to build here at Rutgers, and starting to get better. You know, starting to get better.
Sound like the kid I just interviewed. Hey, 31-0. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Take care.
They got high expectations, though. Aaron, you're right. At Syracuse, at Louisville, home West Virginia, the 3 games remaining for this 7-2 team, now bowl eligible. That will be hope for tonight from the Bulls, but you got to give it to Rutgers. And, you know,
I'm a believer.
They're not going to go crazy and rush the field here tonight. This is,
it's the environment they've built here. They expect to win games.
SportsCenter next with John Anderson and Scott Van Pelt over at ESPN News. We've got post-game extra for our entire crew here and our excellent staff up here in the booth. And for Jesse, Greg, and Aaron, I'm Chris. Thanks for watching. Presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. So long for now from the banks of the Raritan.
This is SportsCenter.
A road trip weekend for the Gators, Tide, and Longhorns, but which underdog may derail title plans for the nation's elite? Make or break for the Bears and Niners. Offense taking a night off in San Fran. Defense is working hard, though, and defense, not quarterbacks, will be the story in Indy Sunday.
Try to tell the people that the Final Fours aren't on the schedules. You know, you got to earn them every year.
Trying to reach the top, we go behind the scenes with Michigan State, your all-access pass with Tom Izzo into the Spartan way of life. Plus LeBron D. Wade, the King and Flash playing Top This in Miami. Right here, right now at SportsCenter.
Go! Go!
SportsCenter is on your TV. Tiger Woods will be two eventually from Down Under. A minor league hockey coach that went bonkers. And then, look at it. This is a cavalcade of stars here.
What we got?
Mark Schlereth, Matthew Barnaby, Jalen Rose, and, of course, my man, the Von Schnitz here.
Hey, how y'all doing? I'm rife with infection. You could get the swine flu just by looking at me. But I'm here for you, and we've got the LeBron James, Dwayne Wade post-game scenario. We've got the NFL post-game scenario, which is sketchy at best. We've got a final from the Sunge, State University of New Jersey. Roll the Rutgers highlight. Chop wood, baby. Chop wood. Looking to take down the team they've beaten 3 times in a row. And South Florida has looked good lately, but they were a mess tonight. B.J. Daniels, a fantastic quarterback, picked off there, then a fumble on the punt. Must be sound in the kicking game. South Florida was not. Here, Daniels on the run, popped by Antonio Lowry. Blair Bynes is on it. 3rd turnover. Then later, Daniels, Kasim Green there to pick him. Obviously, the route was just a bit of confusion there. Frankly, Rutgers could have been ahead by a bunch more, but here, Devin McCourty, whose twin brother's playing in the league with Tennessee, gets the block untouched. That leads to a field goal, 13-0. Jim Levitt is wondering, what are we doing? 3rd quarter, it gets worse. Tom Savage, the true freshman from Pennsylvania, hooking up with Tim Brown. It was Brown who had that amazing touchdown run late against Connecticut to break the Huskies' hearts in that game. Go for 2, they get it. And then late, this sort of sums up the night because you can never fault the effort of Daniels. He's trying his best. He's trying his best. He's trying his best. It just wasn't going to matter tonight against that Rutgers defense. Antonio Lowry all over him. And Rutgers wins in a shutout. As for the top of the BCS, all 3 are on the road, and all are healthy favorites. Florida heads to 5 points to take on South Carolina. Well, 5-11, not too good. That's what old Steve Spurrier once said about the Redskins. Florida's won 17 of 18 in the series. Mississippi State hosts 2nd-ranked Bama, 7 Eastern ESPN. Bulldogs have won 2 of 3, including the last time they played in Stark Vegas, as they call it. I've been to Vegas. I've never been to Starkville. 9-0 Texas heads to Waco to take on Baylor. Texas hadn't lost to Baylor since Mack Brown took over as head coach. That's 11 straight. The men that called the Rutgers game with thoughts on the big ones this weekend.
Yeah, the card is a bit thin atop the BCS. You got the 2 SEC superpowers are pretty big favorites, and then Texas is a monstrous favorite, and Baylor. I mean, potentially difficult environments, guys, for Bama and for Florida. It could be loud in South Carolina. If something good happens early, the crowd may believe. And, you know, the cowbells will be clanging down there in Starkville when the Tide come calling.
The top card looks kind of thin. Last week it looked the same, didn't it? And you had several teams that had to hang on and do their deal. So I think in this particular weekend, never assume anything.
Right.
And for Alabama going down to Starkville, that's a game where when your offense, if it's really not going and Mississippi steps up and does something, I mean, they have the ability to pull the upset. I'm not saying they're going to, but just don't assume
They played LSU
anything.
tough in Florida.
Yeah,
tough.
Absolutely
I was just going to say, I don't think any of the top 3 teams are going to lose, but you look at Mississippi State. If you play physical football, you're playing right into their wheelhouse. Go back and watch that game against LSU. They very easily could have won at home earlier in the year. Alabama, we all talk about their physicality, wanting to run the football. And Mississippi State can make you pay for mistakes. Greg McElroy has not been outstanding at all times this year. Looked a lot better last week against LSU, but that defense capitalizes on turnovers. They did it against Florida. They took a couple interceptions to the house against Tim Tebow. that's a game you got to kind of watch for.
And let's keep an eye on the Mark Ingram Heisman campaign, another potential showcase, a primetime game in front of some TV cameras down there in Starkville. South Carolina's offense, can they generate enough? Because Spurrier's passing game going against his former school, they are struggling so much. And how are they going to produce points against Florida's defense?
Yeah, the old ball coach is going to have to come up with something, dribbling it down the grass. But Stephen Garcia can get hot. We've seen him do it before.
Yeah.
We've seen Steve Spurrier put together a game plan that's capable of scoring points. It's an emotional game. And if South Carolina comes out and they're ready to play with Garcia, if it were a ground game, I'd say no shot at it. But the fact that Garcia, the strength of their offense, can throw the football, you got to say that they have a chance. Not predicting it, but they have a chance.
But you just mentioned it. The key is Steve Spurrier calling plays. Now, he said he's going to get more involved on offense. He's going to get more verbal with his players on the sidelines, take more ownership of the game plan heading in against Florida. But you look against that Florida defense right now, not a lot of holes. Running the football, throwing the football, the speed, the depth. We've talked about it all year long. That's a game I just see Florida walking into, doing whatever they want, running the football, and just running away with that game.
Meanwhile, Texas out there in Waco against a true freshman quarterback for Baylor, and the Longhorns appear to be getting things cranked up. McCoy, Shipley, and the others kind of coming together. That could be painful.
No look-ahead games. You know what, Baylor, Art Browse is a good coach, and he said, don't sweep us under the rug yet.
All right. You're not calling for the upset, are you? Or
the miracle on the Brazos. Here it comes.
You never know. You're right. No foregone conclusions in this sport. But for the top three, it doesn't appear to be too dangerous this weekend.
Breakdown. Brought to you by McDonald's.
Well, the game in the shoe between Iowa and Ohio State lost a bit of its luster when Stanzi was tackled. Ankle is all messed up. Ohio State coming off a big win, though, at Penn State. So two teams whose fortunes perhaps headed in the opposite direction Saturday, 3:30 ABC.
You bring it up, and just that quickly, it goes away. A day after Tennessee coach Lane Kiffin proudly pointed out his football team hadn't experienced any off-field problems, 3 volunteers arrested early this morning on charges of attempted armed robbery. Starting safety, Jansen Jackson. Newkeith Richardson, a highly touted receiver recruit. Defensive back Mike Edwards, all 18, all freshmen, allegedly tried to hold up 3 people at a gas station at the edge of campus. Victims said they were sitting in a parked vehicle about 2 a.m. when 2 men in hooded jackets approached. One of them had a handgun and demanded the 3 empty their wallets. Police tracked down the suspects, found a pellet gun in their car. Each is charged with 3 counts of attempted armed robbery. All 3 players involved, as I said, first year there at the university. A couple of ESPNU top 150 recruits. Richardson had 3 catches for 54 yards, his first career touchdown last week in the Volunteers' win over Memphis. Jackson, the number 9 cornerback recruit, made 7 tackles in his last game against South Carolina. He was suspended for that Memphis game for a violation of team rules. The coach didn't go into that. He did go into the events of the day after practice.
Well, we're gathering all the information, so we don't know exactly what happened. Unfortunately, there was an incident. We made it 11 months and 11 days without any incidences, so we'll deal with this as the information comes in. That incident and what we're doing and these guys that are here and the way that we're preparing was totally irrelevant to today's practice. And yeah, it's adversity. It's life, it's football, and you got to move on no matter what's going on around you. You got to perform really, really well and stay focused.
Tennessee Athletic Director Mike Hamilton issued this statement. At this time, we are currently evaluating the circumstances surrounding an incident involving Edwards, Jackson, Richardson. Any decisions or comments regarding their status will not be made until the evaluations are complete. ESPN.com SEC blogger Chris Lowe with more insight on the situation.
If you read the police report, there were 3 guys there. The victims say 2 were actually involved in trying to rob them. That would be Edwards and Richardson. There's been some talk that maybe Jackson was actually in the store in another car and wasn't there when the actual robbery took place. And I think that's what Lane Kiffin and all the Tennessee administration now are trying to get to the bottom of and find out, were they all equally involved in this attempted robbery. When you look at Jansen Jackson, for instance, he was suspended last week against Memphis, and one of the reasons he was suspended was for failing a drug test. So he's got some strikes against him, as does Edwards from earlier in August. So I think all those things weigh against him. And keep in mind this, Lane Kiffin has been very outspoken about how disciplined this program is, and they're going to run a disciplined program. This is the kind of thing in recruiting that can be poison if you don't act swiftly and decisively.
Richardson was being held Thursday on $19,500 bond. Edwards was released on the same bond, $19,500. Jackson released on his own recognizances. His lawyer said, quote, Mr. Jackson vehemently asserts his innocence, and we hope that this will become apparent in the next 24 to 48 hours.
Jalen Rose waiting in the wings. What a night in Miami. LeBron and Dwayne Wade. I got this